Listen to me, motherfucker. I'm talking. I say horrible things sometimes because I think they're funny. My podcast is a verbal mosh pit because it's just me pinwheeling around. You don't know where the fuck I'm going to wind up, and I generally have no idea when it's going to end or start. I'm responsible for this whole goddamn thing. I want a little respect from you people. Hey, what's happening? Mike Schmidt, 40-Year-Old Boy podcast. Folks, I am in a sick house. It's a drag. I got to be honest with you. I am sitting here, and Lily's got sinuses. She's got headaches. She's got sinus headaches. She's got headache sinus. I don't know what it is, but I hope it ain't catching. That's all I got to say, because our bout of open-mouth kissing we do to relax me before every show is going to lead to me becoming ill. And we can't have that, folks. I'm not a fan of being ill, and but far, again though, it's superstition. We all know how superstitious I am. I leave her, I say make it funny, and when I get here, we have open mouth kissing before the show to make sure that it relaxes me, it settles me in. It's strictly platonic. I used to do it with Eric. I mean, it was just a thing that I did. It was how I went ahead and made sure that I was relaxed for the show. It got all the tension out of my body because I would just come in, I was all wired and vibrant, and then boom, you just make out for a little bit, and then, all right, there you go, you calm down. Because as a kid, it was the opposite effect. You'd wind up making out, and then you're just like, well, fuck this. I'm running first, heading for second. Let's see if I can score on this bitch. But now, the way it works is that, I'm happy with a single. I come here, and I was saying with Eric and saying with Lily, I'll fucking make out a little bit. I don't even reach for a bra or a breast, or I don't even reach around and unhook with one hand, which I can do, by the way. I will tell you that I am really, really good at the one-hand unhook. I know you don't believe me, but come up to me. I'll prove it to you. It's any of you female fans, and God knows I've got tons of them. Any of them, please come up to me and just say, I defy you. I don't think that you can do it. And I will give you a hug, and your bra will be unclasped in 5 seconds, if not 3. I am a master. All right. Unless it hooks in the front, in which case we've got problems, but I don't mind taking a shot at it. I'll take a run at it. You want to try to confuse me and wear your front-clasping bra? Feel free. You think you're going to gum up the works on me? I don't think so. I think my hand goes around the back and then sees what's happening, and then you know what I do? I Alaman left. That's right. I bust out a square dance move on you. I Alaman left, and as you're Alamaning, I left you with my left hand, and boom, the front clasp is open, and hello, areola. How you doing? That's right. I don't fuck around, man. I am a bra master. All right, I'm a bra ninja. I am. I will often dress up in a ninja suit, and then I will use a bra as nunchucks. All right, so... which I will do that with my wife's bra and with Lily's probably because they're gigantic. I don't know if I could do it with a small bra. Maybe. I don't know. You know what, ladies? Again, bring your small bras. First of all, dare me to unclasp them, and then when I do, pull them off like Billy Crystal's aunt at Thanksgiving, and slide it through the sleeve of your shirt, and hand it to me, and then I will do a ninja nunchuck bra routine. All right. A girl would need an end cup too, then, because for ninja, right? I don't know. End cup's retarded. That's gigantic, right? That's got to be huge. That's like that's like Macy's Parade underdog balloon big. That's not good. All right. Hi, folks. How are you? So I'm here at Lily's, and I will tell you this, folks. Guess what happened to me last week? Holy God, unbelievable! I got a death threat. That's right. Via Twitter. Although it wasn't really a death threat. I have to say that because the guy who sent it is freaking out right now because he thinks he squared. He thinks we're all we're good and on board again. And I was like, all right, I understand what you were trying to do, but now I call it a death threat anyway because I cause a problem. All right. What happened was, I don't know if you recall in the show a couple of weeks ago, I was talking about Hindus. I have not listened. I will tell you, I did not listen to. I still have not listened to. Well, you know what? I'm actually 3 shows down, folks. I never listened to Cynical Challenge because I hated my headspace when I did it. I did not get to listen to the Juggalo show yet, and then I did not get to listen to last week's show, unfortunately, which was kind of me just getting ready to go and do something. I had something to do last week. I don't remember what it was, but I was getting. I'll talk about it later. All right, so I wound up talking about Hindus, and as I talked about Eat, Pray, Love. And I went off on Julia Roberts and her husband, and I all I know is I think it was pretty funny. I don't remember it, but I remember it being funny. So there's a guy who's a follower of me on Twitter and also a friend on Facebook, and he is from a foreign land, folks, and he always writes me, and in his writings, he's kind of aggressive. in his Twitter and things like that. But he's always having fun, and I know he is. So I always have fun back, and it's fun, and that's great. Well, then a couple weeks ago, I got a Twitter from him, and it said, "You're lucky I'm not Hindu." And I'm paraphrasing because I don't remember exactly what it said, but it was, "You're lucky I'm an atheist and not Hindu, because if I was, what you said would get you a new toy to play with, a bullet for your head." So now I will tell you again, on its face, I guess that's a joke. But at the same time, I've got to recognize this is a gentleman from foreign lands, and sometimes they don't understand everything that there's. Sometimes if English is a second language for a person, and I don't want to cast aspersions, this guy could be more fluent in English than I am, for fuck's sake. I've never spoken to the man. I just know he's from a different place, 9,000 miles away. He's one of my many overseas listeners, folks. I have plenty of people in Ireland, Switzerland. Fun donations from Germany have been coming in. Everybody's very nice. But this is a guy who's a fan from, like I said, it's about 9,000 miles away, thanks to Random McNally. Because the second he said bullet in your head, don't think I didn't run to a map to find out just how far he was away from me. Now here's the thing. Again, he was kidding. He was completely kidding. But I, that night, had just come out of, how do I put this? I don't want to say a tailspin. A slew. All right. There was a slew of emails I had read that night from people who, here's the thing, I have regular listeners, and I love all of you. But then there are people who will hit and run the show, and they'll listen to it once, and then either hate it or love it. If they love it, then they're back, and then they keep listening, and then they become you guys. But if they hate it, they oftentimes decide that they should go ahead and write me and tell me that they didn't enjoy it, and tell me all the things I should change. Which makes me laugh because I go, oh, let's see, I've done 125 of these. You heard the latest one, and you think it should be different. You think I should go ahead and change my approach and do what you say, even though I've been doing it for, well, hold on now. This is year 3. Christ, over 2 years of a successful show that people listen to. But you think you've got a list of changes for me. All right, fantastic. I'm glad that you sent them. By the way, this is fucking in my headphones. Like, is it my headphones or is it the recording? Because it's popping hard. Okay, yeah, it's sounding like it's okay. That people heard that. Lily just hit me in the head, folks, and not cool. I don't care. I'm still wearing them. She literally just took. I'm sure you heard it. She has a pad of paper that she holds during the show so she can doodle and distract herself from my bullshit, and she just fucking whacked me in the side of the head with it. So that's what you heard. That was that huge. Yeah, that's fine. No, we're good. We're fine. No, I was relaxed from our open mouth kissing and your illness, but apparently you're all cocky and full of yourself now, so you decided to whack me in the head with a goddamn fucking pad of paper. That was great. All right. You're lucky. I'm lucky that Lily's an atheist because after all the things I said about Hindus, I would wind up with a new toy, a pad of paper for my head. So that's not actually a death threat. So anyway, I get people who hit and run the show, and then they write me, and they're like, hey, dude, you know what? I didn't like it, and here's why, and here's what you should change. Well, thanks. And I don't. I'll always write them, and I'll go, thanks for giving us thanks for. Sometimes people just bail on the show, and I'll go, thanks for hanging in as long as you did, or I'll say, hey, thanks for giving us a shot, appreciate it. That's it. Like that's all I'll say, because again, I'm not going to fight with ghosts. But this person, what was I saying? How did I get here? Yeah, him. But then there was something. Here's why. That night, before I got the death threat from Twitter, and which was not a death threat. I need to say it again because everything's cool with me and this guy. Everything's squared away. But the thing was, before I read his thing on Twitter, I had spent the night reading emails that some of them were great, and then some of them were people going, you know what, dude? If that was me in that car, I would have fucking kicked your ass. All the people, because remember, this was the story that, again, not my finest moment, when I wound up in traffic punching a car and kneeing a dent into the 350Z. So people decided that they would write me and say, you're lucky it wasn't me in that car because I would have fucked you up. Like, I got about 8 emails like that where people were saying that they would have beat me up or, they would have fucking, whatever. And so I'm reading those all, and it's just like, whatever. And then I read the Twitter thing, and basically, I was done with it. At that point, I was like, all right, I don't need to get bullied, cyber bullied. I'm not an 11-year-old boy. I'm not Jesse Slaughter. I can't backtrace this. Consequences will never be the same, certainly, but there's nothing I can do about it. So I write the guy back on Twitter and I go, hey, 9,000 miles away or not, I got to think a death threat is enough to block you. So take care. That's what I wrote, because I've never blocked anybody. Again, this is overdriving hard. That is not. It's not happening on here. I hope. All right, good. Because I mean, like it's splintering, like that weird. Okay, folks, if there's an audio problem, please know that it was not me. Is it just cranked up or something?
I'm just gonna turn your headphones down.
Okay. Well, I mean, I'll tell you what. I like, folks. I like to be really turned up in my head. We all know that, right? I like to, and again, my ears are fucked. I mean, like first of all, they're due for. Yeah, exactly. If someone wouldn't box him with a goddamn fucking pad of paper, I think I'd be fine. But yeah, so my ears are in horrible shape, and you know, because of years of iPodedness and headphones and loud music, but also because you know, I'm due for some peroxide eventually, because again, I've got a couple of Mounds bars jammed into my ear. All right, so I wrote that guy, and I was pleasant about it. Like I said, which, again, all night long I'd been getting notes telling me that they were going to fuck me up. So I wrote him and I said, look, 9,000 miles away or not, I think a death threat is more than enough to block you. Take care. I actually wrote take care at the end to a guy who I thought was going to shoot me in the head. Take care, fella. I mean, because again, because part of me knew he was kidding, but I was just over it at that point because I don't fucking, stop. Enough. All right? Enough with the I would have kicked your ass. Yes, you're very controversial and tough. I mean, whatever. Who even types that? Who even sits down? Because you heard the story. I mean, I lost my mind on a guy because he started it and I finished it, okay? And quite frankly, they should have gotten out of the car and fucking battled me, but they didn't. So whatever. But then you take it upon yourself to go, boy, if that was me. How uncomfortable are you in your own masculinity that you have to put yourself in the situation of the guy in the car? Why couldn't you put yourself in my situation where I got fucking taunted and had to go over and do something about it? Instead, no, you make yourself the guy in the car. So obviously they've had some weird situation where that's been the case. You know what? Maybe it was the two dudes who were in the car who decided to fight me back with words rather than, just to reassert their masculinity and get over the fact that they were both fucking pussies who wouldn't get out of the car and throw with me. And again, not that I wanted that. I don't want that. I shouldn't have done that. It was stupid. It was, again, people keep coming up to me and joking. People have me as their RSS feed. Fat guy goes nuts in Hollywood. Whatever the fuck. Thank God no video has gone up yet. But I'm waiting. I'm just waiting. Eventually, I'll wind up on break.com like a homeless dude with a tire iron. I mean, what the fuck? So man, I just so I told him, hey, take care, because we're very close. And so then he wrote me back. Because he can't write me on Twitter at that point because I blocked him. So he wrote me via the Facebook, which I say because I'm an elderly man. And he says, and he writes me, hey, that was not a death threat. I told you that I was an atheist. I was saying if I were a Hindu. That overdrived hard. Folks, again, it could be my ears. My ears are probably fucked. I have no idea because I did something this weekend that involved amplification. I don't remember exactly what it was that I just did this past weekend, but there's loud music involved, and fuck, I'll try to remember what it was. All right, so he says, hey, I was saying if I were a Hindu man, and so it wasn't a death threat, I'm an atheist, and then he goes, you know what, Mr. Big Shot, go ahead and block me. I don't care. I'll still listen to your show because I believe in free speech, and I still enjoy your show. So I knew he was sort of kidding, but I was just fed up with hearing from 1,000 people who wanted to beat the shit out of me. So I was like, whatever. So then I wrote him back on Facebook, and I go, look, I understand that, but you got to look at this from my angle. Okay, all night long, I get, a ton of letters a week, and some of them know that I have a temper, so they're all trying to trick me into, like, cyber fighting with them, I guess. I don't know what the hell their problem is. I said, but, all night long I've been reading about people who said they would have kicked my ass if it was them in the car, and then I get you saying you'll put a bullet in my head. Yes, I'm sure you were kidding. That's fine. I said, but I'll tell you what, when you talk about freedom of speech, that shit goes out the window the second you talk about putting a bullet in my head. I'm sorry. Look, I'm an American and everything, but the second you're like, hey, I'd like to put a bullet in your head, I'm not going to go, thank you, Sancho, and shake your fucking hand. Sancho? I don't know, whatever, whoever that is. Sancho Panza. He shot Don Quixote in the head. All right, no, he didn't. So I wrote him and I go, look, I said, if you want to be unblocked, tell me, that's fine as long as we're cool. Because let's put it this way. His first note to me wasn't enough for me to just go unblock him because I'm that stubborn of an idiot. I need him to say specifically that he wants to be unblocked. I'm a child. And so I said, so, blah, blah, blah. And then he wrote me back and he's like, yeah, go ahead and unblock me if you would. That'd be cool. And so I did. So everybody's fine. We're all square. Yeah, things are fine. So it was a non-death threat, but I don't know. But I get people all the time where like dude, I wish that would have been me in that car. I would have fucking taken care of you. All right, good for you. Fantastic. Who even listens to my show, hears that, and then goes, I got to write this guy an angry letter about how I beat him up. What? Didn't you get any funny at all out of my show? Instead, you want to challenge me to a fight? What the God bless America? Are you fucking shitting me? A lot of rage out there, folks. A lot of angry fucking people. I don't get it. Yeah.
Mr. Pot.
Yeah. That's fine, but but I recognize that I'm a dipshit. You know what I mean? I deal with my rage I'll talk about it and I deal with it, but I don't sit down and write some angry letter to a guy. Dude, I can't wait to fucking Indian wrestle you because you suck. What the fuck? Crazy. Yeah, but hey, I'm not happy with being a rageful idiot. It doesn't make me happy. It's not like I was bragging about what happened with that car. It just fucking happened. It happened before I came here. Won't happen again. I don't care. Go ahead. By all means, if you see me in the street, call me a fat fuck and drive off, folks, and I'll smile and nod like I'm supposed to, apparently, because I'm not supposed to get heated. All right. Yeah, I don't. It's weird. I can't even remember what mainstream radio people have to go through. Like, I mean, I get, I do this show, and I have a certain amount of people that listen and stuff like that, and I get feedback, which can be good or bad. But I mean, if you're like a star, man, you got to be getting just like pounds of fucking shit sent to you all the time. And how do you deal with it? I don't even know. It's like, I'm the Dr. Laura of podcasting. I'm gonna have to, what? I'm gonna have to fucking go ahead and just step away, and to keep my First Amendment rights. I love the fact that she quit. I think it's hysterical. If you don't know what happened, Dr. Laura Schlesinger, you know, everybody knows. She said nigger 11 times in what, a minute? She did it for speed. Like, it was crazy. It wasn't even part of the discussion. It was almost like she was having a limerick contest to see how many times she could say it in a row. And it's so funny, if you listen to what she said, that's not even the most offensive thing she said. The most offensive thing she said is right at the end when she goes, hey, if you're going to be sensitive about this, don't marry outside your race. Wow! Holy Christ. I didn't even hear your boots click together and your hand go to the air with the Sieg Heil afterwards. What the fuck? Are you shitting me with this don't marry outside of your race nonsense? Come on. Oh. And then she said, nigger 11 times in whatever amount of time. And the caller's just like, well, I hope everybody heard that. And she's like, I hope they did too. And then she says it a million more times. And then gives her the speech about to divorce her white husband because, she's not good enough to be married to a white guy apparently. And then... And then has the balls to go on Larry King and say she's getting out of radio to keep her First Amendment rights. Man, how much do you love saying nigger that you quit your job to make sure you can still do it? In this fucking economy? Are you shitting me? You gotta really love hating people and talking about it to quit your fucking job to continue doing it. The balls to put yourself on the cross and act like you're the one getting crucified when you said nigger 11 times in a minute. The Guinness people are like, well, who's that? She's tied with, Mudbone Jones from some comedy vaudeville pork chop tour back in 1930. Holy God. Man, you got to really love insulting people if you quit your job to keep doing it. Boy, oh boy. Oh, just the smugness, and then to turn it around and go, it's special interest groups. Special interest groups? You mean African Americans? You mean half the population of the fucking country? Yes, they have special interests. Their interests are in making sure they're not insulted by some 80-year-old white woman with morals from the fucking 20s. Give me a fucking break. And even the only person older on earth than her is Larry King, and he's just sitting there nodding. Oh, horrendous. Because the two of them remember when you could get a time when you could say it 11 times in a minute and still get your lunch. They remember when you could do that and all you were doing was taking roll at an Alabama school.
Yeah, no doubt.
Holy shit. To them, that's all. What? This is harmless. Come on. This was literally, that's how Larry King did play-by-play for basketball in the 50s. Oh, it's fucking awesome. God damn it, I just thought of that. That's great. Larry King, he was the play-by-play voice for the Syracuse Nationals in 1953, and that was the last time someone said nigger 11 times in a minute. Fuck that. Oh, Jesus, that's great. Boy, if I thought I got death threats before. Yeah, all right. Oh, just ignorant. How ignorant to act like you're the victim in the whole thing. Give me a fucking break. It's not free speech issue. It's not a political correctness thing. You're wrong. You're fucking wrong. What you did was wrong. And just that weird, I'm always fascinated by that don't apologize thing. I don't know if that's right out of Sun Tzu, like The Art of War, but they all do it. They all do that weird, and that no apology. If anyone was offended, I apologize. Well, dude, yeah, that's the reason you're at this press conference, you fuck. Half the nation was offended by what the fuck you said. Jesus Christ. All right. It just made me laugh. I did because I saw her again where she's just yammering, and I'm like, oh, seriously? Oh. Listen, I got to end this show because there's no way I'm going to top That's How Larry King Did Play-by-Play Basketball in the 50s. There's no way. There's no way I top that. I drink a Propel in your face, folks, because it's 95 degrees here, even at night. What time is it? It's nighttime. And it's the right time. It's nighttime, and it's the right time for love. All right. So what else can I tell you, folks? I got nothing for you this week. I didn't really do anything this week. I'm being a liar. I'm being liar to you, as was said in a what film was that? You are being liar to me. I can't remember. It was a cab driver guy. It was a comedy from the 80s, probably. Short Circuit. No, I have no idea. Even though there was a guy in Short Circuit who talked like that. If I was alive. All right, so, folks, I had a weekend this week where I went out of town. I traveled. That's right. I traveled from Los Angeles. I went to a destination north of here. Folks, I went to San Francisco this past weekend. Yes, and I went with my friend Lily Von Stupp, and the two of us went together. We drove together, and I will tell you that I picked Lily up at like 2:15 in the morning on Thursday night, early Friday morning. And I'm like, well, because I don't know how late Lily's going to be. I get along well with daytime Lily. And I've seen nighttime Lily a few times. We've been to Vegas together and stuff when we used to have couples trips and stuff when Lily still considered me a friend. As opposed to now where she's out with her traveling troupe of circus people and I don't get a tweet or a fucking phone call or anything. And then I get a fucking Twitter that says, Eddie and I are eating cheesecake with friends. Great. Thanks for the call. That's always the best. Lily's the mayor of everywhere without Mike Schmidt. Okay, so good.
I am the mayor of nowhere.
You're the queen of Foursquare. So Lily and so I've seen her late, so I know that she, we get along. I still think late, although this will be the first time it's me and Lily solo late. Before there's always been a buffer. There's been a buffer person, like a Karen has been there or a previous Lily acquaintance. Someone is there. Someone is there to take the edge off the Mike Schmidt and Lily Von Stupp horn clashing nonsense. So I come to her house to pick her up at like 2:15, and I call her. I'm like, hey, I'm downstairs. She says, okay, comes downstairs, and I go meet her at her door because that's what you do as a nice gentleman. So this happened. This happened. So I open the door to let her out because she's got her luggage and stuff, and she rolls her bag out, and I go to take it, and she looks at me. She doesn't even say hi or hey, and she looks at me and goes, that's a $900 piece of luggage, so can we be careful bringing that down the stairs?
That's not exactly what I said.
That's.
I said, please be careful bringing it down the stairs.
But you said it in that same throwing. All right, here. All right, this will make it much better, folks. This is what she said. That's a $900 piece of luggage. Could you please be careful bringing it down the stairs? That's what she said. And I went, okay. And in my head, I went, oh, no, nighttime Lily is mean Lily. So I grabbed the $900 luggage, and then around her shoulder, she had a really heavy bag filled with cords and laptop and batteries and all the things that she needed to take care of recording the show for me, which she was nice enough to do. So I went to take that bag from her, and she kind of went to, shift it, and I grabbed it. It was really heavy, and I took it, and I started to walk, and I had the other bag, and she goes, don't, you know what, don't. And I go, what? She goes, just give me that. And she takes back the bag, the heavy bag with all the cords, and she goes, I know you want to be polite, and I know you want to help, but I'm sorry, I don't want this away from me, out of my sight. I'll get nervous, it might get dropped or something. I don't want it, so just let me have it. It's fine. You take the other one. And at that point, I was gonna go upstairs. Because I've seen you now for 90 seconds. and I got to wipe shit out of my eyes that I'm getting from you. Are you kidding me? Really? I'm trying to help with your bags. I didn't go get in the fucking car. I didn't drop anything. I was trying to be a nice guy. And instead, I got that. So I went, all right. And I gave her bag back, and I was very careful with the $900 piece of luggage. And then I put that in my car, and she went ahead and she got into one seat and all that. And I will tell you this: I usually don't do this because usually I will jump, and I will draw it out. But I will just tell you this now: that was the last moment of friction or tension or unpleasantness we had for the entire weekend. It's true, because I don't want them to sit here and think that, oh my God, really, they clashed heads the entire time? No. She got in the car, and from literally the second the car door closed till the second her apartment door closed behind her on Sunday morning, she was a delight. Everything was fantastic. We had a great time. I had a fucking great time. It was awesome. So yeah, but I wanted to tell you that literally the first 90 seconds to 2 minutes, I almost went, you know what? I don't need a tape of this that bad. Fucking go upstairs. Honestly, I don't, because it was weird, like this weird attitude. And look, I understand, because here's another thing. I live my life at night, okay? So other people at 2 a.m, they're crabby because they're supposed to be in bed. And I'm like, fuck that. I'm awake. That's my normal time to be awake. So in my head, I'm like, all right, well, I'll cut her a little slack on the $900 luggage. But then when she dropped that shit about don't take the other bag, and I'm like, oh, dude, honestly, you know what? Let's go. You know what? You're carrying that bag still? Good. I will roll the $900 luggage back up the fucking stairs, and you can go right back up and go to bed and nestle yourself in with your clown, and everything will be fine. But then when I got her in the car, and then the rest of the trip was awesome. We didn't butt heads. There was not a problem. Everything was fantastic. So I will tell you that. But I had to tell you about it's when it started, man. I was like, Jesus, this is going to be fucking horrible. But then the rest of the weekend was absolutely without flaw. So that's good. At least on a personal level between Lily and I. And then we drove up. We went to San Francisco. I went to do the one-man show, folks. I went to do Success is Not an Option, the 40-year-old boy one-man show, Mike Schmidt's one-man show, up in San Francisco. We did it at the Darkroom Theater, August 20th to 21st. Now, look, I've only been to San Francisco twice in my life, and each time it was for a day. And when I say a day, I didn't stay over. We showed up, we did some stuff, and then we left that night. So, I mean, I didn't even get a real feel for the city or the town. The town, yes, apparently. You know what? If it is a town, it's a boom town, folks. I'll tell you what. That gold rush in Northern California has really done wonders for the boom town of San Francisco. Jackass. So we drove overnight, and it was funny. I would tell you this. Lily too was all like, she's like, it's gonna take 8 hours to get there. I said, well, it's only like 370 miles. She goes, yeah, but it takes 8 hours and I go, look, I'm gonna get us there in like 5. And she's like, no way, that's not gonna happen. I go, come on, don't worry about it. Just we'll be fine. So I mapped it out, and I told her, I go, yeah, I said it's 370 miles. We should be good. She's like, well, I don't think so. It's still gonna be, I figure, about 8 hours. So 5 hours. I got there in 5 hours, and that was with stopping for gas, and at this one joint. I mean, come on, because I don't fuck around. Because that's the thing. When we would go to Vegas before as couples, it was me and Karen and Lily and a previous acquaintance of Lily's. I don't know what you're saying. It would be, it was me and Karen and Lily and a friend of mine, and the four of us would go on trips, and we went to Vegas. And I will say that this friend of mine enjoys. He drives leisurely. I don't know how to put it because he's got a big Horkin car, like a luxury type car, not a Cadillac, but a bigger. Karen calls it a museum car because it looks like it should be in a museum. And then when you get inside, there's enough space to fucking have a statue or hang a painting. I mean, it's just this giant, roomy vehicle, which worked out great because then Lily and Karen are in the backseat doing whatever they're going to do, arguing about $900 pieces of luggage or whatever the fuck. And me and a friend of mine are in the front listening to British radio and having a great time. It was a great trip. God, I miss it. I really miss it. Karen and I have no couple friends, none at all. They were our couple friends, and now they're just a couple of friends.
He's a new couple. You can go with them.
Now they're a couple of friends. So I make it in 5 hours. I tell Lily I'm going to make it in 5 hours, and boom, fuck that. I make it in 5 hours, God damn it. That's right. You can shake your head if you don't believe me, but
I know you did.
yeah, you're damn right I did.
Shocking.
Even with the Bay Bridge and the fog and all the nonsense, it was so we have to find our hotel. So we find out where we're staying, and we stayed in a nice hotel called the Hotel Chancellor.
Woo-hoo!
That's right, which is I'll throw them a plug because it was a really nice place. Why are you mocking?
Go 7th floor ducks.
Yes, they. We get into the room. Lily and I check into them. I'll tell you this too. I know you're all wondering. I go to check in, and I let Lily sleep in the car because she was still sleeping, and then I went to. It was in downtown, man. I mean, it was like really tourists and people and workers and everything, and we were right in the center of all of it. It was awesome. I love a city. I love the vibe of a city. Los Angeles does not have that vibe. I mean, I guess if you're seriously downtown, but I mean, to me, downtown is like the Staples Center and all that kind of shit, or you're on Skid Row. I mean, it's like there's no real downtown in Los Angeles, in my opinion. Not like there is with San Francisco, with Chicago, with New York. Uh, this reminded me. It's funny. This trip reminded me of when we did. I'll get into that. But anyway, so we we were right in the heart of the city, right in the middle of every one-way street in the world. That kind of thing where you can see your hotel, but you got to turn left 9 times to get to it. That kind of thing. It was awesome. And so I park in front. I go to check in, and I said, we got there at like 7. I think 7 o'clock, 7:15, and I popped my head in, and the woman's like, none of the rooms are ready. I said, okay. I said, well, I'll tell you what. I called earlier in the week because I was going to see if there was a way I could get twin beds. And she's like, oh, wow, let me check. I'm not sure. And then she looked it up because, folks, if you listened to last week's show, and even if you didn't, there was a raging controversy about about whether or not Lily and I were going to have to share a bed up in San Francisco. And when I say have to, I mean want to. But from one person's end, Lily could not care less. She's, believe me, she's very busy with her couple friends. She's not so concerned about that. So I go to the desk clerk. I'm like looking for twin beds. She said, "Oh, let me take a look." Click, click, click. Tap, tap, tap. Oh yes, you did. You got a room with twin beds. And I said, "Yeah, that's great." Just because I think the stories would have been that much more interesting if we had to put a sheet up between us and do all that fucking horrible nonsense. I just would have looked forward to taking the photos of it and putting out, here's the sheet contraption and here's the hole cut in the sheet. It would have been fantastic. But instead, we got the twin bed. So I went out to, but then she said the room would not be ready for like 2.5 hours. So I said, all right, well, I'm going to go get some breakfast in town. And I went to the car, and Lily was still sleeping, and I told her, she woke up out of her fever dream. And I said, don't worry, we got twin beds. And she said, good. And she went back to sleep and relaxed because that was what she was worried about the whole time. And then I used my phone to find a place to go eat because, folks, when I go to a strange town, I'm a fat guy, and I'm not just going to go to McDonald's and have something. So I wanted to find something cool. Like I wanted to find the best breakfast in San Francisco. So I used my phone. I'm looking around, and then there was a place called Dottie's Blue Something Cafe. Dottie's Blue Dot Cafe? Maybe the Blue Dot. I don't know. But it was close, and it turns out it was like a mile away from our hotel. Which, of course, again, means another 9 left-hand turns, and you got to jump around, jump through hoops. But this place is like a fancy, well, not fancy, but it's like it's a cool place. I had seen it actually on the Food Network, and I'm like, awesome! I can't wait to go to this place. So I said, "Are you cool with that?" Lily doesn't care at this point. She would have gone to McDonald's. She just wanted to go to a room and sleep, and I don't blame her. But we couldn't check in yet. So I finally go up to Dottie's, and it warned me online. It was like there will be a line, for this place, and I'm like, come on, it's early enough where it's not going to be a line. And I turned the corner, and sure enough, there's like 6 people waiting in line outside. And then I had to park on the street. It was a one-way street, and I had to park on the left-hand side. Which is the driver's side. I had to park on that side of the street, which was fucking horrible because I don't park. I don't parallel. I'm a really good parallel park person. If you go back to year 1, you'll hear that I parked so well. I wanted to stop people in the street and go, look at that. How fucking great is that? But then you fucking flip the script on me, and I got to go back in left-handed, and it's like, oh, that's odd and weird. And then there's a line of people out there waiting for bacon, and I'm going, oh, fuck, I can't fuck this up in front of them. So I start to kind of pull in, and then I got Lily next to me sleeping, and I don't want to, I don't want to wake her up, and then I also don't want to hit the pylon with the egg on it because then Marsha's going to win the contest. So I go backing up, and I'm spinning the car around, and I'm trying to park on the curb. And finally, I wedge it in perfectly. The car is in there perfectly. And I tell Lily, I go, you know what? Because Lily's got a bad wheel. So I go, do me a favor. Because I will tell you this. We found a spot. It was street parking in San Francisco. Holy fucking God. Are you kidding me? If we ever get invaded by any sort of, foreign army or aliens or something, I hope they try to go to San Francisco first because then they're going to find no parking for any of their vehicles and they're just going to leave. They're going to give up. They're going to think the rest of the nation is that difficult to find a place to park in because it was fucking horrendous, the parking. But luckily, like I said, I found a spot and I parked perfectly on the side of the road. And I said to Lily, I go, look, we're parked. You can stay in the car and sleep. I will go wait in line because I didn't want her standing there with her cane and her bad knee, and it was just horrible. And again, for eggs, I mean, she could not care less about being there. She would have gone and gotten a fucking Jolly Rancher and sucked it for 2 hours, and then we would have gone back to our room. That would have been her breakfast. But for me, I'm like, hello, fancy eggs. So I find this joint. Dottie's blued out. There's already a line. But then, like I said, I park exquisitely. I parked perfectly on the left-hand side, even though I was worried I wasn't going to be able to. So I'm in the car, I'm talking to her, and the people are looking at us because they see us, I'm negotiating with a sleeping lady. And I get out of the car, and I have to put money in the meter. So I grab a handful of quarters thinking, well, that's not going to be a problem. I look at the meter. It was a quarter for every 15 – it was for every 10 minutes? Whatever. It was $3 an hour to park. $3 an hour on the street. And you might as well just valet it, for Christ's sake. So I start feeding quarters into the meter, and I go to walk and get in line for the eggs. And as I'm feeding the meter and talking to Lily, like 5 more people get in line. So I fall that far, much further behind in line. I go and I get in line. I'm fine. Everything's great. And I look, and I am parked like a dick. I thought I had exquisitely backed in. I thought I was hugging the curb. I thought I was perfect. My car is parked like a porn star who wants it in the ass, because it's like the nose is narrowed down and then the ass is jutting toward the street and kind of up. You know what I mean? Like literally, I parked doggy style. That's how I parked. It was fucking. My car's ready to get anally invaded, and I can only hope that when they fuck it from the back, they don't get cum on the $900 piece of luggage that's in the back, because I will never hear the end of it.
You're listening to The 40-Year-Old Boy on the Mike Schmidt Podcasting Network. And later, 2.5 men bang 4.5 women. Ladies and gentlemen, with a phrase from the past of The 40-Year-Old Boy, friend of the show, Johnny Mathis.
Drumsticks, who put those in there? I'm going to plow through them like a fucking badger.
So we finally get in. We get some breakfast. I have, I know you want to know what I had, folks. Here's what I had. I had a pulled pork and roasted onion scramble with Monterey Jack cheese and some potatoes and some grilled cornbread. Oh, dude, just fucking amazing. And then Lily had bacon. That was it. She ordered bacon, and I'm like, oh man, do you want to get the whiskey fennel sausage scramble? And like, because again, my fat head wants to order everything, but I can only eat. I didn't even eat what did I eat? Barely. I didn't even eat half the eggs I got. And then I got a blueberry corn cake pancake or whatever. Yeah, I basically got the things that were popular there and stuff. But dude, oh my god, it didn't even taste like eggs. It tasted like life. Oh my god, it was so good. It was just the best. It wasn't an omelet. It was a scramble, and it was pulled pork. And, dude, I shouldn't be eating pork. I mean, that's something I'm supposed to avoid. I don't do good with pork. Even when I was fat, I wasn't doing good with pork. Like crazy fat before, pre-surgery. But after surgery, pork just became like an enemy. What?
Why? What about pork?
It fucked me up. I don't know why. As I got older, pork fucked me up. But it's like I love carnitas, and I love all that stuff. I mean, I can do it in moderation, but sometimes it'll get me. It'll fuck me up. So we finished breakfast, and it was funny. It was this really crowded place, and there was a line out the door the entire time. It was really good. Went back to the room. Finally, the room was ready. We checked in. We were going to sleep during the day, and Lily crashed into her bed. I crashed into my bed, and this was a bad omen for the weekend. For the first time, for only the second time since I had my surgery, since 2005, so that's in 5 years, only the second time since then, and the first time in 3 years, I got acid reflux, courtesy of the pork. I was laying in bed, and all of a sudden I woke up at 2 o'clock in the morning, because we went to bed. We didn't get to bed until like 10, and I woke up at 2, and I had stomach acid in my throat, and I'm like, oh no, and so unfortunately, Lily's there, so she's got to get the brunt of it and hear it as I try to, I have to cough up, what's in my throat. And I go in the bathroom, I run the water real loud, trying to, do that. But it didn't help. I mean, she still woke up, and it's just, I have to do this thing where I have to eat toothpaste to calm my throat down. Oh, it's horrible. Believe me, you don't want acid reflux. And then Lily tells me a fucking half-hour story about how she used to get it. She thought she almost died once from it. I'm like, oh, my Christ, it's awful. So I walk in the other room, and then she's sort of awake, and I'm like, I'm sorry. But then I had to prepare for the show Friday night. And, folks, I will be honest with you, I was scared out of my fucking mind. All right, I told people that in email, and I mentioned it to some people. But I put up a brave front because I was still as excited to go and do the show. And I will tell you this too. This is going to sound weird, but whatever. I don't care. I'll tell you. I don't even want to talk about this. I know it's dumb to say. I don't know why, because I lived it and it went. It was the weekend and all this. But I know everybody wants to hear about it. But I do want to talk about it. I really, really do. But I also have this thing where I don't like to repeat myself. And then I also sound like I'm bragging. And I also sound. I'm an idiot. I'm a fucking idiot. Is my point. That's one of the reasons why the first, fucking half hour of the show isn't me talking about this. I should have just dove right into it and been like, yeah. But for some reason, because I feel like I'm going to be going, bragging. I don't know. Whatever. We'll see. Well, I'll get to it. All right. So Friday we got to do the show. We have to actually be at the theater at 6:00 for tech, which means we got to make sure the lights work. And then there's I was scared to death of this show because there's audio cues. And I will also tell you this, too, folks, and I don't know if this will be a surprise to anybody. The show wasn't finished on Friday. Okay. I knew what the opening was, and I knew what the second segment was going to be. And then the third segment, I knew what it was comprised of, but I didn't have any order, and I didn't have any idea of what was going to happen. And then I knew what the fourth segment was, but again, I hadn't really worked on the beats, and then I knew what the fifth segment I was solid on, which is the closing segment. I knew what that was going to be. So I was in my head too about performing the show as far as structure, because I'm not an actor, folks. I mean, so to do a one-man show sounds so pretentious, like I should be wearing a fucking robe and walking around with a people throwing roses at me and all that bullshit. And it's just like, I'm me. That's who I fucking am. I mean, it's all I can do to act like me. So I'm going, well, fuck, how am I going to do the show? Because the way I've comprised the show, and the lights would come up, and I had a certain line that I knew I was going to open the show with, and then I was going to go into a story and tell a story, and then ping pong around and do what I do and tell the stories. And I think I told you I had an epiphany a few weeks ago, a breakthrough on how to do it, where I was like, fuck, I don't need to really limit myself on anything, because it was a person who wrote me and was like, fuck that, you're not Mike Birbiglia, don't do that. So I was like, oh, I guess so. I mean, I guess I could see that. But I had an idea for bookends. I knew it was going to open the show, and I knew it was going to close the show, because they're related, the two of them. And then all the stuff in the middle was all the stuff in the middle. And look, it's going to be nuts and bolts from here on in. I hope you guys are some people are fascinated by this kind of thing, and some people are going to write me a note and go, boy, if I heard you telling the nuts and bolts, I'd kick your fucking ass and shoot you in the head. Great, fantastic. Believe me, I might fucking beat you to it, depending on how bad the story goes. So I was fucking scared out of my mind. I wanted to sleep, but I knew the show was at 10, and we had to be at the theater at 6 for tech. So I got up at 2, and then I could not get back to sleep. I mean, I was like, well, I should really get another hour or two of sleep and make this happen, but I couldn't, because I needed to learn the jokes. Like, I'm like, Lily laughs, because I always say every show I do, I go, I got to learn some jokes. And because I have to figure out what the fuck I'm going to say, or at least an outline, or what I'm going to talk about. And I was deathly afraid of filling the time. All right, I will tell you that too. I was so worried that I always get these weird things. Like, it's like the first time I ever drove a long distance by myself. I drove from Los Angeles to Las Vegas, and this is back in 1990. And I was so scared out of my mind I wasn't going to be able to do it. I was like, I'm going to fall asleep and crash into a cactus or a fucking, a coyote, whatever the fuck they have in the desert. Who knows? But I was so scared I wouldn't be able to do it, even though I can stay up for 5 hours at a time now. But at the time, I just didn't think I'd make it. And it was a fucking breeze. I mean, it's like, then you do it and you go, oh, this is easy. I mean, it's not that big a deal. Although the first time I ever drove to Vegas, I'm driving, and then we get by Barstow, and it was a parking lot. There was an accident or something. You could get out of your car on the road and it cost me an hour, like 90 minutes just sitting there. And I couldn't even get up to the exit to go have a taco. I mean, it was like I was stuck in the fucking on the freeway. But I made it no problem. I thought I'd have to be pouring water on my head and turning the radio up and all that. But no, I was fine. So that tends to be a pattern with me where I'm fucking scared to death I'm not going to be. So I had never, I anticipated this show would be an hour. Okay. And I'm like, well, you know what? If you do at least 45 minutes, that's a headlining set in a club. So as long as I could do 45 minutes, that'd be fine. But I assumed the show would be an hour. I wanted to get to an hour because the longest I'd ever done in my life in a live performance. Now, look, we all know about this show, but this show doesn't fucking count because I can seriously. I mean, honestly, this is just me talking in circles, and I don't have to make people pay attention. Because I know people are out there listening, and if they love it, they love it. And if they don't, they can turn it off and write me a note about how much they hate me. Whatever. But live is a completely different fucking animal because I'm going to get instant feedback on whether you hate me or not. You're not going to have to write me an email that says, dude, I didn't enjoy that. I'm going to fucking see your face, and I'm going to realize you don't enjoy it. So that's why, and that's another reason why getting back into comedy is so daunting, because I've got to convince people to like me, and that's, I'm not a good salesman, because the only product I got is me, and whether or not I believe in it or not is an issue at this point. It's crazy. I know it's crazy, but I'm just telling you that's how I feel. So the longest I'd ever done on stage was 42 minutes, and that was the first year I did comedy. I did a 42-minute set, a headlining set at a club called Belly Laughs in El Toro. And this was my first year of doing it, but I was able to fill the time, and because I was writing topical, so I constantly had material to churn and burn. And then ever since then, when I go on the road with Jimmy, I do 30 to 35. I think I did 40 a couple of times at shows. And I came close to doing 42 one night in Ventura. Jimmy and I did a show, and I will tell you this. I did a show at Pardo, and it was one of the last shows I ever did with Jimmy. When I was on stage, the microphone gave out. Did I talk about this on here? I was on stage and the power went out.
Wow.
Okay, and I've been in clubs where stuff like that has happened before to comedians, and to see them get through it or work their way through it was always pretty amazing, because it's you have to be able to anticipate anything that's going to happen. Well, it finally happened to me. I was in Ventura at a place called what the hell? Now it's the Ventura Comedy Club, but it used to be called Hornblowers. Yeah, Hornblowers. How do you know? Oh, okay. Yeah, so it's right there on the wharf, and so I went with Pardo, and we had a show, and I went up on stage, and the power went out. And I had been doing, the show with Jimmy at the time. I was doing Never Not Funny, I believe. I don't know if I have the timeline right on this, but at the time I was a comic who worked topical and still had my old act, but the power went out. And it didn't make any sense to me to do my own act, so I started to kind of vamp and just have fun with the fact that the power was out. And I had a really good time. And then I decided to tell stories. I told the helicopter story, which I had never done before. I figured, the power was out, we're all having fun, and I'm joking and making, and I for some reason it kicked it up a level, like where I was doing well, and then the power went out, and then I fucking destroyed. I mean, like. Maybe they enjoyed having the lights out and not being able to see my face. I got no fucking idea. But for some reason, it was amazing. It was the best set I'd had in years. And I finished and I walked off stage. And I will tell you this. This is it's going to sound stupid, all right? But it was the only time where I ever worked with Jimmy in the entire time we worked together on the road anywhere, where when I went up to him afterwards, he thought that he might not be able to follow what I did. It was the only time, because every other time, and by the way, I won't even drag this out. Of course, that was ridiculous, because he went up and fucking crushed, because he's the best club comic in the fucking world. But I came off stage, and he was genuinely going, well, man, you talked about all the power outage stuff. I mean, there's nothing I can do there. And I go, dude, are you kidding me? That's what you do. And then I went in the back of the room, and Danielle was there, and we went in the back of the room and laughed like fucking children, because he was ridiculously hilarious. And I'll tell you this, I think him being a little worried actually added a little edge to what he did when he went right up on stage, and he had them by the balls from the first 5 seconds. It was fucking fantastic to watch. Whatever I was doing and the level I was playing at, Just like a real show should be, he came on after me and brought it that much higher. Took it another fucking complete level up. It was fantastic. And then he did, 45 to an hour and crushed it. So those people walked out of there, and had an amazing show in the dark. Because I killed it. I did about 40 minutes. Because also, I will tell you that with the power out, I stopped looking at my watch. I was getting laughs, and I will admit, I got laugh greedy because I was killing it. And when I walked off, I'd done a little longer, and then the guy finally waved the candle, and I got off. And not even kidding. Yeah, that was the light. He waved a candle. I got off. Yeah. And and that's when I went to Jimmy, and he was just like, "Oh, dude, I don't know." And I'm like, "Dude, are you kidding me?" And then sure enough, they fucking carried on. They didn't even know who I was by the end of the night. They were like, "Hey, who's the fat guy who drove with Jim?" You know what I mean? Like literally. So I was, that was the best show I'd had, whatever. So 42 minutes was like my barometer. So I was really worried about filling the time. So I was nervous as fuck. So I'm looking, I had typed out, I printed out 11 pages of bits that would have been like the beginning and end of the show. And the stuff in the middle, I decided I didn't need to type out because I'm like, oh, I'll be fine with that. I can vamp through that because it was, some of it was stuff from this show and whatnot. So I'm trying to learn some jokes in the hotel room, and Lily's making buttons. Lily's doing her thing because she had to get ready for her Tarantino Burlesque show, which was Monday, which is amazing, and I hope I get time to talk about it. But as I've delayed, talking about this. So we were in the room, and then we had to go and take a cab for tech. So we go downstairs and take a cab, and it's just like it's a city. You got to whistle, got to wave. There's all this shit going on. There's that girl looking at herself in a window and pointing. That's an old reference for nobody. So we have to go grab you. Bless you. And we have to, Lily's got the sinus and the thing. I told you I'm in a sick house, so I'm going to have to say bless you. So I get the cab. We don't even know where we're going. We tell the guy where we're heading, and he's like, what is it? It's the theater. We give him the address. So he hustles us over there. And by hustles us, folks, I mean, I don't think cab drivers recognize traffic lights at all. I mean, I know they certainly don't recognize other cars, and they barely recognize other pedestrians. And I don't take a lot of cabs, all right, because I'm a rich man. I own a car. But, and again, I don't live in a city. Like, if I lived in a city, I'd have to do that. But we had to take a cab to the theater because, again, I will tell you this, it cost me like $30 a day to valet my car. And I had in-out privileges, but with the parking situation, and after I had my car presenting in front of the Egg House, I mean, I wasn't about to risk dragging it over to the theater because I didn't know what kind of neighbor it was. Because I will tell you this, we were right in the, we were by Nob Hill. We were in the middle of the Tenderloin or, whatever the fuck, or, by Union Square, whatever. That, where we were at. So go Google Hotel Chancellor, you see where I was staying. And we take the cab. This guy he may as well have been in a fucking spaceship for the, because I don't think, he was in a land speeder. He was in, from Star Wars. Like, he's not even touching the ground. He's just floating on Earth and zipping around people, and people are crossing the street, and he's still driving through the crosswalk. Oh, fuck, what a maniac. And I'm looking at, I look at Lily, and she's like, are you okay? Because I guess I must have made a face. I mean, I was so scared. Because again, that would be just my luck, to get there to do the one-man show, and then I die in a flaming car accident. Thanks to Raul's not knowing where we were going and having to get us there on time. I mean, really? So I did what I always do when I get into a situation like that. I do it with my wife because my wife sometimes will drive in a way that I'm not a fan of. And normally, like I told you, I went through a phase where I was going, what are you doing? Slow down, speed up, do this, change lanes. I mean, I'm a horrible asshole. Shut up. So what I wound up doing was what I always do now. I closed my eyes and hung my head. And just looked down, like not even looked. I just sat there because part of me wanted to, not see what was going to happen, and also part of me knows that you're supposed to be loose-limbed if there's an accident, so you don't break anything and you don't wind up with more injuries than you do when you tense up. So I'd felt that I had to have an almost Bill Irwin-like looseness to my limbs. And just in case this guy was to crash into somebody, I could, just like in the Don't Worry Be Happy video, I could just loose limb my way through the windshield and smash to the ground. That's fine. I'll Bill Irwin it. Look him up. So, as I talk about that for no reason. So we take the cab. We get there for tech at 6, and I get there, and there's no poster up of the show. Max made an amazing poster for the show, and I got it to Bucky a week ahead of time, and then didn't see it. But that's fine. Bucky Sinister. First of all, I got to thank him. He was the one who took care of all this. He was the guy, because that's the key to me doing anything, folks. If someone says, "Hey, I'll take care of all that stuff," I go, "Great, I'm in." It's when Eric said he'd start a podcast for me, and Bucky's like, "Hey, I'll bring you up here. I'll get you a hotel. I'll get you a theater. I'll get you everything you need." And I'm like, "Great, done. I'm there. I'll just show up and talk." Hopefully for longer than 42 minutes. So we go to the theater, we knock, there's a flyer on the door, and then there's a grease pencil board, and it says it says Thursday and Friday, 40-year-old boy. Well, I wasn't there Thursday. I hope I didn't chase off any potential ticket buyers. So Lily, of course, then took her thumb and wiped off Thursday out of the grease pencil board because she's the producer. She's in producer mode at this point, folks. And we ring the buzzer. Nobody comes to the door, and it says if you ring the buzzer and we don't, call us at this number. So we called them, and Jim, the guy who runs the theater, came out and could not have been cooler, could not have been nicer. Brings us in for tech. The theater, I will tell you, is it's a deeper theater rather than a wider theater. So there's a stage in the front of it, and then there's like 5 seats in a row, and it goes about 10 rows deep. Does that make sense? Because there's about a 50-seat theater. And we had to basically make sure that the lights worked and the tech worked, and Lily could plug in all of her stuff and record me and all that stuff. And I had been texting Bucky. I'm like, "Dude, we're going to get there around 6." And he's like, "I'll try to make it." So we walk in with 6 because we had to do all this tech. And I will tell you, tech was done by 6:08. I thought it was going to be this elaborate production and we were going to have to do a bunch of things. All we had to do was make sure that everything worked. So Lily did the lights. She plugged in her computer. She found everything that worked. We were done. So I took a $15 cab ride for 8 minutes of work. And Bucky shows up finally. Very nice guy. I brought me a case of Propel. Thank you, Bucky. That was pretty awesome. He brought a case of Propel and put it back in the green room because I'm very famous, folks. And I will tell you that normally this theater has 3 shows, 2 shows a night. Well, that's why I chose the 10 o'clock starting time because I didn't want to pick an 8 o'clock show and then have someone come in with the 10 o'clock show and then I would have to get out right away because I anticipated meeting people. Because I'd never done this before, so I thought if people liked the show and liked me and liked the podcast, they'd want to meet me and talk. I don't want to be arrogant about that. I don't want to sound like, big-headed Jones, but I honestly thought people would want to, not meet and greet, but would at least want to say hello or talk to me. So that's why I chose the later show. Well, then it turns out that either Friday or Saturday, there were no other shows. So we were starting at 10 o'clock for no reason, basically. So Friday, then we have to take a cab back, another $15 cab ride back to the hotel. And I will tell you this, too. When we got to town, I gave Lily some money. I gave her some cash, and I'm like, "Look, here's like your per diem. This is some cash for you to, if you're walking around money, you want to eat something, you want to go somewhere, and I'm not around. If Dad can't get out of bed because he's got to learn some jokes, go, take this money." So she's like, "All right." So she then has to pay for the cab ride both times because I don't carry cash. I use plastic for everything, so I'm like, "Can you give me a 20? Can you give me a 20? Like, I got to pay for the cabs. Fucking horrendous. So all her walking around money is now our driving around money. So I take the cash back. And it's so weak and terrible. So then we get back to the hotel, and I go upstairs, and I'm panicked, folks. I'm starting to really get worried now at this point because I got to learn some jokes, and I'm thinking about what I'm going to say and do, and are people going to show up? What's it going to be? And I knew how many tickets we had sold for each show. So I was still gun shy. And then I got to take a shower. Lily's got to take a shower, and we're in the same room, and that's odd. And we got to take a shower together. That was even weirder. Because apparently it's superstition. Lily has to have her back washed when she produces a show. I don't know why it works. So when she produces this show, she has her clown do it, but this time he's not there. And we were staying at the Chancellor. So I will tell you this, Lily, by the way, I didn't realize how nosy she was in a hotel. She opens every door on the floor. She's looking around for like towels and soap and ice, and people are going, "What are you doing?" Like the waitress or the maid is like, "What are you doing?" And she's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, this says ice," because it did. It said ice on the door. And was like, "No, there's no ice in there." Well, then take the fucking ice sign down. So because Lily's not in the wrong, she's looking for ice. So but then she finds out we were in the bathroom and there was a duck, like a rubber duck, that said Chancellor Hotel. And I'm like, "Is that like a friendly duck like that we're supposed to keep?" And she's like, "I don't know. I think so. Take it home to Karen." And I go, "Well, no, because then I'm going to get a bill for, $80 for duck. No, thanks." But then, thankfully, her snooping paid off because then as we were leaving she that day to go to the show, she pokes her head in a supply closet, and they got a box of ducks. And she was thrilled. She's like, "See, there are ducks. That you can take that duck because they got a whole reserve supply of ducks." Apparently, since the oil spill in the Gulf, they've been stocking up on ducks, folks. And then it said on the box, 7th floor ducks. So that was entertainment for Lily and I for the cab ride as we speculated what could the 8th floor ducks do, because there were 15 floors in this hotel. I'm like, you know what it is? It's like high school. This is 7th grade. These are 7th grade ducks, and the 8th grade ducks are bullies. They probably come down here, the 8th floor ducks, and they're mean to the 7th floor ducks, and they're all aspiring to get to be the 15th floor ducks, which are made out of solid gold. So we enjoyed our duck talk. We go downstairs to get a cab, and now I will tell you this: I'm panicked because the cab ride took about a half hour. Again, the place is 2 miles away or 3 miles away, but it takes a half hour in the city. You're in the city, folks. Joe Walsh said it. So we have to go out and catch a cab on time, and then we have to get a cab. Our hotel doesn't have the bellman with the whistle or whatever the fuck, the doorman. So we had to walk down to a different hotel, and then there's a cab line. There's like 9 people in line, and a dude in a dress, like with a fucking wig on. Yeah, there's more than a few trannies in town, folks, and I'll get to that in a second. It's Tran Francisco. That's where we were staying. So we're in line for a cab, and we're waiting. And that guy had luggage like he was going to the airport. I'm like, really, dude? You don your lady suit to go fucking flying? Please. I don't think. And he didn't pull it off. Yeah, I guess so. So sure enough, we have to wait for the cabs, and I'm panicking now. What is it, 10 to 9? And the show's at 10. But the thing is, I have to sit in the room for half an hour and think of jokes. I have to learn some jokes. So I'm panicked. Then we get into the cab, and this cab driver, then again, worse than the first guy. And he's, he literally, I kept waiting for Muttley to pop out of the truck and just, laugh. I mean, I think we're in the Wacky Races, the way this guy's fucking driving. And we get to the theater, and there's nobody in the theater. We finally get to the theater. It was like 20 after 9. Nobody's there. I'm like, dude, I'm going to do a show to an empty fucking room. Because I will tell you this, there were people who said they wanted to buy tickets via long distance. There's a friend of mine from Australia, a listener, and some other people from other cities who asked me, they said, look, we want to support. Can we just buy tickets and then allocate it for somebody who wants to come to the show? And I said, you know what, contact Bucky about that. I don't know. If you want to do that, that's great. But at the same time, it sounds like a terrible idea, because what if fucking 50 people buy tickets and allocate them and then nobody goes? Like, everybody's like, they're all sold out. Well, dude, then I'm playing to a room full of ideas. Literally, there's a room filled with charity that I'm playing to. So I don't know how they arranged it with Bucky, whatever. So I go in the back, and I will tell you, I had my very meticulously picked out show music, pre-show music, because I obsess about that sort of thing. And I'm in the green room. And Jim and Aaron, who run the theater, come into the back, and they could not have been friendlier. They could not have been nicer. They don't know anything about me or my show. They know nothing at all. But they're real friendly. They run the theater, made it, and were very accommodating. Put out beverages for me in the green room. Aaron brought me cherries, like actual cherries, which I did not eat until after the show, because I will not eat before the show, folks. And the last thing I need to do is go Witches of Eastwick and vomit cherries all over everybody in the fucking front row, because I didn't learn my jokes. So I'm in the back of the green room, and I'm obsessing, and I'm worried, and I'm freaking out, and then people start to arrive, and I don't know. I was just praying to fill the time. That's all I wanted to do. I wanted to make sure I didn't go up. I didn't want to forget stuff. I didn't want to go blank. I just wanted to go ahead and make it. I wanted it to be great. I would have settled for good, I didn't want it to be tolerable. That would have been weak. Because I could not imagine. Because I will tell you this: people who love this show, the podcast, really love it, and they're very cool to me, and they root for me. Like, there are people who really, really want me to succeed. It's not so much different than like your favorite band, where you make a connection with them and then you listen to their music and you're like, you think they're almost speaking to you to a certain extent, and you want them to be good. You want their album to be good because you also want to brag to people, they're good and I like them. You know what I mean? Like, they're almost a representative of you at that point, and I think some people feel that way. I don't want to be arrogant about it, but people like me and they root for me to do well. And also, they're fucking paying, $17 to come and see me. I better be good. I would hate to fucking suck. That would be awful. And what if wouldn't that be terrible? It would be terrible for them. It would be terrible for me. Because imagine if they came and they invested that much into thinking that I'd be good. What are you laughing at? What's funny?
I'm just laughing because it's funny.
What is?
Nothing. Just thinking about disappointing your crowd.
Seriously, that's a main motivating factor for me. It's like, I will tell you this. I used to tear myself up. It's like Jimmy didn't want to work with me anymore. Before I'd go on stage, I would be in the back and I'd just be like, oh, man, and pissing and moaning, just like, because I looked at it as very much me against the audience. whenever I did stand-up, I looked at it where it was me against them. Like they wanted to hate me, and I had to go out there and prove that I wasn't, that guy. And I was ready, guns blazing, to get fucking hecklers. I looked at it in a very me versus them type of way, and I don't want this show to be that. I want this show to be me and you, us. That's what I want the show to be. Instead of me versus them, I want the show to be us. I want this show to be something that appeals to everybody and they understand who I am and what I do. So I was worried that wouldn't translate and worried that I would fuck it up. So I'm in the back and I'm trying to, Bucky's being cool. He's coming back and checking on me. Lily is coming back and talking me down all the time, being really friendly and nice and just going, hey, there's this many people. There's this much time left. We're going to go here. We're going to there. I couldn't have done it without her there. There would be no way. If she hadn't come, if she and her $900 luggage would have gone upstairs, I would have been fucking sweating bullets, and I would have had nobody to make eye contact with on the cab rides, and I would have had nobody to to confide in and tell me things were okay. I need somebody to tell me things are okay. So good for her that she was able to do that for me, and I really appreciate it. So even if I took all of her cash for the cab rides, so yeah, I know. So I'm in the back waiting, sweating, wondering. I don't know how it's going to be, and I don't want to poke my head out because I don't want to see people. Because I mean, I don't mind being seen. It's not like I'm this, all of a sudden I'm in Kiss makeup. Ha ha. That's who I am. I'm Kiss. I'm in the back. I got to put my makeup on. Yeah. Sure, it would have. That would have been horrible for everybody. And especially when Gene Simmons came in with a subpoena in the middle of it and sued me for wearing the makeup for copyright infringement. He would have somehow heard his fucking, Kiss detector would have gone off and he would have hopped in a helicopter and flown up to San Fran. I know, don't call it San Fran. Don't call it Frisco. I get it. All right, so I'm in the back. Show starts. Bucky goes on stage. And I said to Bucky, I go, beforehand, I go, hey, are you doing time beforehand? And that's a defense mechanism, too, all right, because that means it gives me another 6 minutes to have to think about jokes. It gives me another 6 minutes to not have to go out there and be hated. It gives me 6 minutes to not go out there. I mean, I know that's weird, but I'm being truly honest. Like, when I would do stand-up, there would be comics who hated when a guest set would come. They couldn't stand it because it just made the show longer. It beat the crowd up a little more. And as a headliner, I could totally see where you'd be upset by that. Me, as a middle act, I wanted a guest set because it meant that was 7 minutes longer that I didn't have to go up and face being on stage. And I say this, dudes, I love stand-up. I loved doing it when it went well. I told you what I didn't like was the whole convincing people I was funny thing. Fuck, I can go talk forever. If people will indulge me, but unfortunately, it's the having to prove you're funny right out of the box and hecklers and drinks and I follow Graham Elwood on Twitter, and you should too at Graham Elwood at twitter.com, and he's on the road all the time with Doug Benson. They play these amazing shows. They play 420 shows. They do stand-up clubs and theaters, and they're on the road all the time. And Doug Benson is a name. I mean, he's been on TV a ton. He makes a bunch of people happy. He's great. He has a huge fan base. Graham has a huge fan base. He's been on TV a lot, and the two of them go out, and I still see Twitters every week from Graham going, drunk couple had to get thrown out of my club tonight. Unbelievable, like at the Late Show. And I'm just like, wow, they're huge. I mean, they're huge. They're playing hand-picked theaters and shows that their fans come to, and they're still throwing drunk people out of the goddamn room. You know what I mean? It's like, is that still going on? Does it ever end? Doug Benson is famous, and they're still throwing drunk people out of the goddamn room. Are you kidding me? So that's the kind of shit that it, polarizes me a little bit, where I'm like, fuck. Because the good news about this past weekend was people coming to the show knew who I was and were prepared for the onslaught of Mike Schmidt. They knew what they were getting. They were going to get podcast Mike. And the thing is, people who don't listen to the podcast, that's what I'm wondering about, is if real people are going to accept podcast Mike. All right, so show starts, and I asked Bucky if he's going to do time, and he's like, no, I was just going to bring you up. And I'm like, oh, okay. And then he's like, well, if you want me to do time, I'll do time, because I'm sure he'd love to do some time. And I was like, no, I'm good, because I just need to get on stage, because I need to climb out of my skull and fucking get on stage. So Bucky goes up, and I had to make sure I'm like, please make sure there's 2 stools on stage, and I got to bring a towel up and some Propel and notes. And when I say notes, it's just a notepad, because here, I will tell you this. I kept trying to commit everything to memory, all right, because I had an idea of what a one-man show should be, all right. In my writing process, I had this breakthrough. I'm like, well, it shouldn't have to be that. But then when I started to write bits and jokes, and this is another problem, is I was starting to type out what I was going to say, and as I was typing it out, I would think of jokes and more jokes and more jokes, and I was just wedging them in and wedging them in, so something that should have been on one page was all of a sudden on 3 pages. It became a monologue that was really long because I kept throwing in jokes, which is great because I think it should just be a fucking joke attack. That's great. But unfortunately, then I've got to memorize those jokes, and I got to remember to hit those beats, and then I'm in my head to where I've got to memorize this script for the one-man show. So I'm freaked out. So then I finally make a decision Friday when I'm in the back in the green room just before I go on. I go, you know what, dude? Make a running list. Just put down a set list. Just write them in the order that you're supposed to say them and have it on stage with you. You don't have to consult it. You don't have to pick it up. Just, it's that much more of a security blanket to make sure you don't fuck up. And I'm like, and people will indulge me, and it won't be a huge thing. It'll just be on the stool, and I'll peek at it periodically, and then hopefully it'll go well, and people won't boo me when I look down at the pad of paper. So I get introduced, and Bucky brings me on stage, and I'm in the back. It's funny, I'm behind the curtain pacing, waiting to go on, freaking out, and in my head I'm just like, dude, these people want you to succeed. I mean, they want you to succeed. Go succeed. Just go be you. Just don't worry about it. Just do what you're going to do here. So I went on stage. Bucky brought me up, and I did the show Friday, and it was fucking fantastic. I mean, Friday's show was great. I was so worried it wouldn't be. I was so worried I wouldn't fill the time. I'm like, dude, if you do at least 45, that's a headlining set in a club, but try to do an hour. I looked at my watch at the end of the first story, and I was 25 minutes into the show. And I still had 4 stories left. I mean, I'm like, I couldn't believe it because, and what makes a difference too is the crowd. I will tell you this, I really had nothing to do with it. It's the crowd being accepting of me and who I am, got me out of my head and led me to do what I was supposed to do, which was be me and do my performing because they were with it. They wanted to see what I was going to do. It was so great. I mean, I can't thank these people enough. Friday's show, there were people from Canada who came down for the show. There were people from Seattle who came to the show. There were people who drove up from Orange County at the show. There were people from 4 hours away also in California. I mean, these people came to the Friday show to see me. They weren't just, that's the thing. They came to see me, and dude, if you don't think that makes a fucking difference, you are crazy. Because they allowed me to do what I wanted to do. As much as I was intent on being myself, it was made that much easier by a room full of people who wanted to see me be myself. It was so great, and I can't thank them enough. And Friday's show was great. I did an hour and 40 minutes Friday. And I was drained. I sweat through 2 shirts. There's blackouts with music in the show. And there was a technical problem Friday. There were a few technical problems Friday, I will tell you this. One of them, because I didn't have the chops to deal with it, I was supposed to tell a story, and then that was supposed to lead off an entire segment, and then at the end of that segment, I was going to have a callback to the first story. Well, I started that whole segment, and I forgot to tell the first story, and I was getting to the end, and I was about to give the callback, and I went, in my brain, I go, fucko, you didn't give the first story. The callback's not going to make any sense. So because I don't have any chops, instead of, just kind of segueing, going, oh, I should tell you this, which I would do on here, I got so worried about it that I went, dude, I fucked this up, didn't I? I did, didn't I? And because I said to Lily, but it's what I would do on the show. So I actually went to the audience. I go, you know what? I fucked this up. I was supposed to have a story that led off this segment, and there's supposed to be an ending that's going to be a button that ties into that. So you know what? I'm just going to go ahead and tell that story. And a room full of regular people, boo, they storm out. Not interested in any excuses that I would have. They'd want to know why I'm going off book and talking to them. They'd be like, oh, the TV came to life. But people in the audience wanted to see me do well, so they're like, yeah, dude, tell that fucking story. And it made it so much easier and so much better, and I can't thank them enough. Everybody who came, I just, the people that I met, Bill came to the show, Cheryl Ann came to the show, Jared came to the show, Chris came to the show, Christine was there. I know all the people that I met. Everybody was great, and I want to thank them so much for coming. I'll maybe I'll thank them all later. I'll get into a rundown of it. But how boring, how boring is that radio show? Thank you. I'm Alanis Morissette. Thank you, India. Thank you, Chris. Thank you, Cheryl Ann. All right. Idiot. So the Friday show goes fucking amazing, and I'm sweaty, and I come off stage, and people are very nice. I will tell you, this is going to, all right, like, I'm not that guy, but the last story of the show is one I've never told on here and won't. If you want to hear it, you can come see me live. But it's kind of a heavy story, and I was weirded out about telling it, to the point where I talked to, there's a guy named Dave in New York who was the guy who spurred all of this, who told me I can get you into the Fringe Festival in New York, or at least he can shepherd me through the process. And he's like, he's been kind of my go-to guy where I'll write him and I'll tell him I've had an idea for this or that, and he's been very nice and attentive as he's got his own career going on. He doesn't need me needily typing to him at 4 a.m. What'd you think of this? But he was gracious enough to offer, so I use his services if I can. But why was I even going into that? What was I telling you? Okay. So it's a heavy story, and I had told him I had a heavy story, and he's like, well, you should be okay. And then I thought of a way to get to it. And it was funny. I even told Mex that I was going to do this story, and he's just like, really? You're going to do that story? And I'm like, yeah, I'm going to do it. But I will say that some people came up to me at the end of the Friday show, and they had tears in their eyes. You know what I mean? And some people had cried. Yes, Lily, you do. But you're just sad because you wanted to get out of there. But everybody else, there were some people who were really cool, and it affected them, and they were very nice, and they were very they told me so, and that was neat. And then some people asked for autographs, which was really cool, and I can't thank them enough for coming and making me feel like somebody who should be doing this for a living. And then Jim and Aaron, the people who run the theater, did not watch the show, but they poked their head in periodically. They were very nice, though, and then I went in the back and I ate every cherry in the goddamn bowl because I was starving and I was drained and I was dripping sweat. And my buddy Cash was there. I didn't think, it was great. Cash is he's a producer guy who lived in Los Angeles, and I got to meet him here, and he used me for a couple of projects, and now he's back up in San Francisco. And he talked about he's doing a thing on podcasting. He talked about talking to me for that, which would be great. I hope so. So it was nice to see Cash. And then other people, like I said, people from Canada. It was insane. So Friday was a huge success. Did an hour and 40, which was an hour longer than I'd ever done on stage before. And then Lily and I walk outside to get a cab. And then that dance starts all over again. Thankfully there's not as many pedestrians on the street to kill. But it still was like being in Grand Theft Auto as we're fucking slamming all over the goddamn place, and I'm just closing my eyes. And we get back to the room, and it's late. It was about 1:30. And Lily's like, oh, I'm cashed. And I go, you want to go eat? You want to do something? Because I'm wide awake. It's nighttime, and I got to decompress anyway. And she's like, dude, I'm going to bed. So I didn't want to hang out in the room while she was going to bed, because then I got the lights on while I'm surfing the web, whatever the fuck. So I go, well, fuck this. I'll go for a walk. So luckily Karen packed me a coat, because I hadn't planned on packing a coat. Karen jammed a coat into my bag because it was fucking 55 degrees in San Francisco. Jesus, was it freezing. So I grab a coat, I go out into the street, and I go walking. And I was looking for, there's a couple things I could be looking for at this point. I'm out, I'm looking for something to eat, food, or I'm looking for Vice. I won't lie, I was probably looking more for Vice than I was looking for food. Because, it's San Francisco. I don't know if there's a lot of Vice in this town. Yes, I do, because I've taken 9 left-hand turns, and I've seen on every corner is every goddamn Asian massage parlor you could ever imagine. And I'm not going for that. I got no interest in that, because, again, I'm a married man, folks. But, I don't mind going to an adult bookstore and maybe seeing what they're sampling their wares and seeing what's happening there. So I'm looking for an adult bookstore. I'm looking for anywhere to go eat. I'm walking up I walked about a mile and a half away from the hotel, and I walked up Powell to Sutter, and I took a left on Sutter, and I walked down, and again, Asian massage parlors, and they are not good to the Asians in that part of town, folks. Because in that part of town, if you're an Asian, you are either cooking, you're either a tourist, or you're jerking somebody off. That's all you're doing in that part of town if you're Asian. And then the next day was Saturday, and they had Korea days outside of my hotel in Union Square. I'm like, really? This is not the part of town to be an Asian in, and you're here celebrating your Asianness? I instinctively went to Korea days. I just put a $50 bill on the stage to see what would happen. Sat back. I'm going, well, I'm either going to get a fucking barbecue dumpling or a hand job. Let's do it. So I go out walking, and I see the Asian massage parlors, and there's, bars and all this stuff. And as I'm walking, I see there's recessed storefronts, and like little, doorways, and I see like a shadow in a doorway, and I'm like, oh, I'm not gonna get fucking stabbed. Am I gonna get stabbed here? What's happening? And then I'm waiting for like 19 Asians and a dragon head to come out. Maybe they're gonna do a crazy, I don't know. Maybe it's the year of the yak at midnight. I got no fucking idea. So I'm walking down the street, and I look, and I see this silhouette. And as I go walking past the storefront, I go, don't turn your head. Just don't turn your head. And I walk, and I hear, psst. Really? That's what I hear is psst. And I look, and it's a guy, and he's in a fedora and like an overcoat, and he says, psst, hey, buddy, got a smoke? Or no, a light. Did he want a light or a smoke? He wanted a light. Hey, psst, got a light? And I was like, dude, I'm sorry, I don't, because apparently in the walk from my hotel, I somehow have shown up in 1948. I'm not even sure if fire has been invented yet, so I can't get you a light, Seamus. Some gumshoe in a goddamn doorway wants me to light his Lucky Strike. Give me a fucking break. Can't I just walk around and look to get jerked off by somebody? Come on. And honestly, I'm sure if I had a fucking match and we want to pivot on a conversation, the guy would be like, hey, I'll rub one out for you eventually. It's that kind of town. So I go walk, and I'm like, fuck it. So I can't find an adult bookstore. I get down to Sutter and Polk, and all the bars are letting out because it's almost 2 in the morning, and it looks like Austin. If you go to Austin, there's this great street in Austin where all the bars empty, and then everybody's eating and having a good time in the streets. Well, that's what Sutter and Polk was like. It's just this, and I'm way too old to be down there, man. It is all these young people. And, showing their tits and, looking for rides and hanging out. And there's a line for, there's a woman selling the bacon-wrapped hot dog that I'm a fan of on the street. So I go, you know what, maybe I'll just grab a bacon-wrapped hot dog. That'll be fine. Because there was a sushi joint and they closed at 1. I was pissed I missed that. So I get in line for the bacon-wrapped hot dog. And I'm waiting in line, and I'm waiting in line, and I'm waiting in line. And this line's not moving as fast as I want it to be, but I wait in line. I'm not lying to you. I'm going to say I waited about 8 minutes in line for a bacon-wrapped hot dog, and only 5 people got accommodated because there was like this huge swarm of people. And the thing is, the guys in the front would be getting 4 bacon-wrapped hot dogs for their friends, and the grill's not that big, whatever. I wait 8 minutes, and then finally I go, well, fuck this. After 8 minutes, I bail because I see across the street there's a Chinese joint, and it's open. It's fucking, by now it's 2:15. So I walk in, their sign says they close at 1, but they're open and they're seating people. So I go, hey, can I get some food to go? Because I figured I'll just go back to the hotel. And the guy's like, fine. I order some shrimp fried rice. I have a seat. And in walks my second tranny of the day, folks. And this was an Asian tranny, as befitting the area. And I will tell you, I've seen some trannies where you just look and you go, that's not fair. I would be fucking that before I knew it had a dick. I mean, seriously. But just like with our friend getting a cab, I had no qualms about what restroom this guy would be using. Does that make sense? I don't give a fuck where your Jimmy Choos, how high the heels are. I don't care how short your skirt. I still know there's a ball sack under there. I don't care how deep your tuck. I know you got a hose. So just a homely looking dude, and he comes in, and I've had this problem before with the trannies where I've accidentally said the wrong thing, where I'll call them sir. Okay, and I don't mean to do that. It's just kind of, you just do it. But this one I was not doing that with because he was lithe, and he looked like he might be. And I knew it was a tranny because he still had the Adam's apple of the last guy who called him sir in his Lee press-on nails. So I knew he was not to be trifled with because he had long-ass fucking sharp nails, and I did not need him to do a fucking Beecher from Oz on me because I'm not a Bill Fagerbach, and I'm not going to get cut to fucking ribbons. So he asks if he can join me at my table, and I say sure. And then he sits with me as I wait for my food to go, and then he winds up asking me questions about the menu in his broken English. And I don't know. I wanted to go, dude, this is your homeland. I mean, you would know a lot more about this than I would, right? I mean, I'm sure your tranny name is Dim Sum. Or some dim guy. That's what he was. So I just kept avoiding eye contact, and I kept texting Karen like that I was at a Chinese joint, and I'm like, because she was up she's playing cards. I'm out of town, so she's having a fucking party. She's playing cards with her friends. She's at Denny's at 3 in the morning, taking pictures of carrot cake and sending it to me. I'm like, yeah, good for you. Meanwhile, the tranny's still trying to make small talk about noodles. And I'm like, look, I don't, I'm out. I can't do it. But I'm smiling. I was very pleasant. I'm like, yes, nice to meet you. And, legs crossed, huge fucking, calf muscles, whatever. So I get my food and I walk back to the hotel. And then I just spent the whole night, being nice to people on the internet, answering. That's what I did. I was being nice to people on the internet. I was sending flowers and gift cards. I'm stupid. So basically, I walked back with my food, and I was unaccosted. But and I was going to take a cab, and I'm like, oh, I don't want to take another fucking cab. It's just a mile. Walk the mile. But I did, and then, of course, there's just shady people on the goddamn street in San Francisco. This is going nowhere. All right, so Saturday comes along, and I stay in the hotel room to learn jokes because I want the show to be that much better because I know there's more people coming to Saturday's show. And I will tell you this, there's a woman named Christine Taylor who scheduled an interview with me for Saturday at 3 o'clock. And she's also coming to the show, and she asks if she can review the show. I said, let's see how the show goes. Because the last thing I think I need is my second ever performance of the one-man show being reviewed and being reviewed poorly. All right? And I don't want to be that guy who censors somebody. I don't want to be someone who tells someone they can't do something. But, I mean, it's the second time I'm ever doing it. I'm a little gun-shy at this point. Friday went great. I just need to make sure that Saturday goes okay. So I go to bed finally at like 7 a.m., and then I got up at 11 because, again, I'm only capable of sleeping 4 hours at a time. Lily was putting some makeup on. She was going to meet some of her friends for breakfast, so she wound up taking off, and I figured I would get some more sleep in the afternoon before Christine came. Nope, stayed up the whole time. Could not get to sleep. Went around, and I walked around. I went to Korea Days, put a 50 on the stage, and went for some sushi. Came back to the room because I forced myself to go out because I love the vibe of the city. Man, this is going long. Folks, this is long. This is we're approaching Friday night show levels. So I will tell you, all right, I got to pick it up. I'm just talking now. Man, I walk around San Francisco, and I didn't take a cable car, but I wanted to, but it didn't matter. I was right by them in close proximity. I got to feel the whole vibe of being in a city, in that city, in the city, because it is the city. And I loved it. Man, I didn't want to leave. I just really enjoyed it. So I go back to the room, and I go, well, I'll get some sleep. But first I got to talk to Christine. So Christine shows up. We do an interview. And we hit it off. She's really funny, like quick, funny, and when she got to talk, because she wound up just putting her iPod on the table. And it was funny. She had a purple iPod and she had purple nails. And I asked her, I go, do you always coordinate your nails with your iPod? And she goes, yes. I have 5 different iPods with different colors, and I do the nails. She was right there with it, man. She was great. Yeah, I dug Christine. I was a fan. So she finishes with the interview with me. It took about 45 minutes to an hour. I forget. 44 of which I was talking. And then she hit a stop button and said, I think I got all I need. Please stop talking. And then I split. And she was going to go, and I go, hey, I'll walk you to your car. Because, it's a city. You don't know what's going to happen. So I walked her to her car, and she was astonished that I would do that for some reason. I don't know if, chivalry is not happening or but it was very, she was cool. I walked her to her car. I went back to the room, and I go, look, I got to get some sleep. So I did. I grabbed about 2 hours of sleep. And then Lily and I woke up, and we were going to go to dinner with Lou and Gina, who Lou listens to the show. Gina tolerates Lou, who listens to the show. So they offered to bring us to dinner, and I had some email correspondence with Lou. And this is my great regret of the weekend, folks. I will tell you that. I did not go to dinner. I really wanted to, but I felt that I needed to tighten up and fix some things that I had done on Friday incorrectly. I wanted to make sure I didn't chili dip a fucking story again and have to, tell people. And also, an hour and 40 minutes seemed long. So I'm like, dude, you got to rein this in a little bit. You got to fucking go and it was funny because I wrote Pat Francis a note telling him I did an hour and 40 minutes. He goes, I would need 8 people on stage with me to fill that amount of time. And I said, yeah, you know what? Actually, I probably could have used 8 other people. No. People would have been thrilled with that. But my great regret was that I did not go to dinner because I told myself I'm going to experience this weekend. I'm not going to get in my head. Because that was another thing. When I would travel for stand-up, I would do my set and I would walk out of the club. I wouldn't watch. If I was with Jimmy, I'd watch his set. But if I worked with other headliners, I would walk out. I would go to Taco Bell and then go watch TV in my room and or read the paper or do whatever. I avoided everything. I treated it. I miss it so much now, and I miss the things that it's silly that you shouldn't miss. I miss being in the club. I miss hanging out with people and busting balls and having beers. I miss all that. So I told myself, you know what, go and experience this weekend. You need to be an active participant. Don't fucking let this go by. So I should have gone to dinner, and I did not because I needed to make sure that I tightened up the show. Because honestly, I'll be truly honest, they were going at 6. We wouldn't have gotten back till 8, and then I would have been freaking. I would have been like, dude, you didn't even get you lost 2 hours of prep time, whatever. So I stayed in the room, and I slept, which was smart because we were driving home overnight anyway. So then Lily showed back up. She was very nice, and then I got prepared for the show. We went to the show, took another cab ride, and Well, I didn't even talk about San Francisco Jazz Baby. We got into another cab earlier. All our cab rides were fucking craziness, and I closed my eyes. We were with a guy who was he was driving with 2 feet, 1 foot on the brake, 1 foot on the gas, and he'd like stop, start, pump, and move, and just every yellow light he'd fly through. And he turned up his jazz on the radio, and he was conducting it like a maestro with his right hand and just steering with his left hand. He looked like Kurt Vonnegut. I mean, this guy looked like Kurt Vonnegut in the face, just that kind of an old, haggard, like mustache and hair, and he's like conducting jazz with his right hand. And Lily makes me laugh. She's like trying to just fill dead air. Oh my gosh, is this jazz? I love jazz. Everybody loves jazz. Don't you love jazz? And I'm staring at the ground. I don't want to even look up. And then I hear this huge noise, and it's like it just this whomp. And I honestly thought Lily had a baby. Like I'm like, did you get pregnant from this cab ride and now you've just had the baby? Because that's how dangerous and thrilling this ride has been. You would get knocked up and then actually conceive and deliver in the same cab ride. But it turned out her giant bottle of Fiji water had hit the ground, which was too bad because we had decided if she had a baby, it would have been a San Francisco Jazz Baby. Because the guy was conducting his jazz. So that cab ride was bad, but then every fucking nightmarish driving psycho cab driver. So then Saturday night, we get out of the hotel room late. We actually go downstairs. It's like 5 after 9. And I'm weird because I have to sit in the green room and learn my jokes. So we go outside, and luckily we don't have to walk to another hotel because there's a cabbie right by at the end of our block. So we go up, and I wave at him, and he waves at me. We get in the car, and we sit down, and we go, hey, 2263 Mission. And he goes, okay. And then he sits there for, I'm going to say about 10 seconds. And then he says, where are you going? And I said, 2263 Mission, the Darkroom Theater. And he goes, Mission. And I just hear beep, 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 beep. And I don't know what it is. And I look in the front, and he goes, what was the number again? I said, 2263 Mission. And he goes, 2, beep, beep. He's punching it into a GPS. He's putting the address that's 2 miles away that any San Francisco cab driver worth his salt could get us to. That fucking San Francisco Jazz Baby basically closed his eyes and turned left, right, and we were there. This fucking guy's putting it into a GPS. So I look at Lily, and Lily looks at me, and she says to the guy, oh, you're using your GPS? And he goes, yes, I moved to town yesterday. So that's good for him because I'll tell you what, I didn't know that in this economy a guy could move here from the gulags of Siberia and the next day could be learning how to use a GPS on the fly. What the fuck? So Lily's like, oh, 2 days? And I'm just like, oh, dude, get me to the fucking theater. Seriously, what is going on? But sure, and then this guy is just, literally he's fumbling rubles out of his hand onto the ground and coughing up borscht and punching fucking numbers into the GPS. And then he drives like 5 miles an hour. Jesus Christ, dude, this is not a donkey in a cart. See that pedal on the right? Fucking step on it. This is America, goddammit. I don't know what kind of fucking piece of shit gremlins you're driving over there in fucking Russia, but right now, I got a place to be. I got jokes to learn. So he fucking just, he pulls away, turns his turn signal on. He actually put his arm out to signal as well. I'm like, oh, dude, don't worry. Putin is not going to come and spray poison gas in your face. Get me to the theater. So he drives slowly, and he takes the wrong route, and it was and I'm gripping now because I got to go learn my jokes. So finally he gets us there, and we get out, and Lily's calming me down. She's very nice. We walk in, and we set up all of I brought all the orange candy that was left over at my house. So there's 8 containers of orange candy set up front. I go in the back in the green room, and this time Aaron has put a huge bowl of cherries in there. I'm not going to be able to touch them yet. And I sit down in the green room, and now it's like we got there at like 9:35. Lily puts on the show music. There's some people that arrive just when we arrive. I go in the green room, and I sit down. And right when I sit down, Jim comes in and sits down and starts to regale me with tales about his life in the theater. Look, I like Jim. Really good guy. Could not have been nicer to me. But I need to learn my jokes. So I'm listening to Jim, and I'm being very pleasant and nice, but at the same time in my head, like I said, I'm gripping because I got to fucking take a look at my paperwork. And finally Lily pokes her head in. Only took like 3 minutes. And Lily pokes her head in and says, hey, Jim, I need you out here to do a sound check. Can you help me out? And thankfully she took Jim away. So now I'm in the room. I'm solo. I'm alone. and I pull out my jokes, and I start looking at my 11 pieces of paper, and I make a decision, folks, where I go, you know what, dude? Be yourself. Friday's show was great, but I made myself do stuff. I made myself stick to a narrative. I go, just be you. And this is going to sound corny, and I don't care. I actually I did a mantra. I chanted in my head, these people are here to see you. They love you. Do what you do. These people want you to succeed. They're here to see you. Do what you do. These people love you. These people love you. Don't worry about it. These people love you. These people are here to see you. They want to see what you do. These people love you. I kept saying it over and over. I actually said it out loud. Like I'm in the room because I'm going, and it relaxed me. It really, really did help me to relax. It got me out of my head. It made me stop thinking, well, I've got to say this here, and I've got to do this the right way, and I've got to figure out the structure, and I've got to make sure I hit the beats. And instead I went, dude, go out and just be you. These people love you. These people love you, and they want to see you be you. So I was in the back. I was waiting. Finally, Bucky pokes his head, and he goes, dude, I'm going to bring you up. And I go, okay. And I go in the back. I'm waiting. And my music starts. Bucky brings me up. I go on stage. I set up my towel and everything. And I did the show Saturday as if it was an episode of the podcast. Instead of making myself conform to some sort of one-man show template, instead of forcing myself to do something that I thought I was supposed to do, instead of making myself be somebody that I wasn't comfortable being, I said, go be you. These people love you. Do what you're supposed to do. And the opening 15 minutes of the show were basically what I've done here. The cab driver, Korea Days, the Asian person, the guy with the hat, stuff that I would do on the podcast. So essentially I opened for myself. That's what Lily said later. She goes, you opened for yourself by doing that 15 minutes up top before you did the one man. But I did it, and it was because that's what I do on this show. The opening 20 or so is like a ramp up, and then I'll hit real stories later about halfway through the show. Well, I said, do that on stage. These people love you. Do what you do. Do what you're comfortable doing. Do what's made you get to this point. Don't force yourself into some artificial construct. Do what you're supposed to do. So I went up on stage, and the first 15 minutes was all about San Francisco, our experiences, the cab drivers and everything. And then I hit, and people were loving it. People were very nice and generous and laughing. And then I hit the one man, and at that point I was so loose, it didn't fucking matter. I mean, I was ready to kill everybody. And I just fucking blasted it, and I was able to call back stuff and live. I lived it. You know what? I didn't do the show. I lived the fucking show. And as much as Podcast Mike was there Friday, Saturday, I will never be better on stage than I was Saturday. Never. Saturday's show was 2 hours and 15 minutes. I thought it was 2.5 hours, but Lily, after she showed, because I looked at my watch, I was wrong, whatever. And I will tell you, I'm mad now that it wasn't 2.5. Like, I'm thinking I should have done 2.5. I'm an idiot because I hold myself to some weird standard. But yeah, it was over 2 hours. It was about 2 hours and 10 minutes. And I will never be better than that. Never. I mean, it was so good. I haven't even heard the audio back. I'm really excited to hear it. But it opened up possibilities to me to where I went, this is something. I have something here. And it also showed me I can headline clubs. It showed me that people, the only variable here is the people in the room both nights were there to see me. Will people who have no idea who I am accept what I do? It's funny. That was always my main problem with this show. And people wrote me and were very nice, and they said, you know what? Do what you do, and people will come along. Because I've thought this ever since I started doing comedy. I got great advice when I first started out, and it was right from the top of your intelligence. My buddy Mike Toomey always told me that. My buddy Sam Coots always felt that way too. They always said right from the top of your intelligence. Don't pander. People will catch up. People will catch up to who you are. And Saturday, man, it was a different stratosphere. It was retarded. I mean, it was so good. I can't even explain how good it was. I was so happy about it. And unfortunately, it went long. Like I said, it was over 2 hours. And there were a couple people who had to leave who missed the end segment. And then there were some people who finished right. They had to leave right when I finished. They ran out because they had to catch a train or whatever. I mean, because essentially, I closed down the town. I mean, it was ridiculous. I mean, I didn't finish till 5 to 1. That was when I finished the show. So I finished the show and I come off stage, and there were very nice people who wanted to meet me. And they were all very complimentary and very nice. And Christine came up. She was there to review the show. And she goes, she made me laugh. She's like, should I review it? And I went, oh, yeah, please do. Because, again, it's never going to get any better than this. I don't, to me. And Lily was really great. I didn't finish. Friday night, there were technical problems. Not only did I screw up a story on Friday night, but also the lights. There were supposed to be blackouts where the lights turned out during the music drops. Well, there was something where we didn't know what light switch worked, and the lights, so when we would do the blackout, I was still standing on stage in light. And it really made me feel awkward. I won't lie to you. It made me feel odd. So that's why Friday, to me, like I said, even though it went really well, I still felt a little hinky about it, and that was stuff that needed to be straightened out. Well, Saturday, there were full blackouts, and I'll tell you, it makes a complete difference because I get to relax and kind of, run a towel over my head and chug some water and look forward to the, after 25 seconds going back into stories and stuff. And also, I will tell you this regarding, I know we're long. I'm sorry. We're long, everybody. Lily's showing me where we're at time-wise. So this is essentially, like I said, this is the Friday show for you. But also, like I said, there were technical difficulties like that. And I was weirded out. I will tell you this, the lights were really bright during the show on Friday, but Saturday they were crazy bright, and I couldn't even see the audience, and I loved it because I don't want to see the audience. I know that sounds horrible, but it makes me, when I see them, it makes me think about them and think I should talk to them or something weird like that. It's awful and strange and weird, and it's a crutch and something I need to get rid of because there was an older gentleman who actually he paid to come in Friday, and I commented on him right away Friday, and it was like, dude, don't talk to the crowd. What are you doing? Just do your fucking show. And then I got in my head about that, and then the lights wouldn't go out, blah, blah, blah. But then Saturday, I couldn't see anybody, so that was great. All I could hear was fucking consistent laughter for 2 hours and 10 minutes, and it was. I mean, well, the last story doesn't exactly lend itself to, breaking the place up. But, I mean, but the lights were going out, and everything was great. Full darkness, the blackouts, and people were really friendly after the show. The only thing I did miss is because I was so late, people had to run to their cars, and so I missed everybody clapping me on the back and telling me how great I was. And I'm like, oh, come on. Where's everybody telling me how great I am? Although I did meet some people that were very nice to approach me and talk to me and be very cool. And then Lily and I, at the end of the night, I'm like, you taped that, right? And she's like, yeah. So I haven't heard the audio yet, but I'm looking forward to hearing it. There will be no DVD, folks. There will be no audio release of this. Because I need to fucking do it again and again and make sure that it's good enough. Although I don't think it's ever going to get better than it was on Saturday. But honestly, the live show is the live show. It's going to be different from the podcast. There's going to be stuff in it that's unique to the live show. So people want to come see me live. That's how I want it to be. But I wanted to thank, I want to thank, like I said, Eric came, Bill, Cheryl Ann, Jared, Chris, Christine, Sylvester was there. Daryl came and actually wrote up on the internet. He wrote a review as well at aspecialthing.com, which was nice of him. Lou and Gina, who I've mentioned, came. Amity and her friend Mike came. My buddy Cash was there. Adam came to the show. Paul. Brady came. I know that. He came with Eric. David was there. Of course, Drew was there. And Toby and Jason showed up. So, I mean, these are people who came up and met me and were nice enough to introduce themselves and talk to me. And I really do appreciate you taking the time and effort. And like I said, some people came from Canada, some from Seattle. Friday was that. Saturday, there were people from Portland. It was amazing to me that people would come and see it. And Christine brought her husband, I think it was Mark, I don't know. But if you want to read a review of the show, you can go to ChristineTaylor.com, I believe it is, or go to my Facebook page. There's a link that will get you to the review. But she was very nice in her review. It's so funny. I read it and I was like, this is really great. Why did she say that? I still find the negative in it for no reason. She's like, oh my gosh, for 2.5 hours, he was amazing. He was so funny and da-da-da. It's not quite a one-man show. It needs more focus, and Schmidt shouldn't be afraid of silence. And I'm just like, I'm not afraid of silence. That's who I am. I talk. I just fucking talk. But it's like, so what? It was a great review. Why do I care? Why do I get in my own fucking skull about it? Because I'm an idiot. That's why. But people who saw it and were very nice and liked it. But thank you all for coming out. It was great. And I can't thank Bucky enough. And I will tell you this, Jim and Aaron, who ran the theater, did not watch the show on Friday. They actually watched the show Saturday, and afterwards they said to me, they were like, "Man, that was ridiculously good. It was astonishing good." And I said, "Oh, thanks." And I go, "Well, this is my second time doing it." And they go, "Well, yeah, because it's your second time in San Francisco." I said, "No, this is just my second performance of the show." And they couldn't believe it. They were just like, "You got to be kidding me!" And they were like, "Well, are you going to do Sketchfest? Are you going to do all these different things?" And I'm like, "The problem is nobody knows who the fuck I am. Nobody. I mean, no one at all." And I say this. It's funny. I tell this to people because people always write me and they're like, "Dude, you should do Mark Maron's podcast, or you should be on Chris Hardwick's podcast." And I'm like, I know Chris, and I don't know Mark. I've been in a room with him once, but these people don't know who I am. So it's not like I can just go, ooh, please put me on your show, because they don't fucking know who I am. So that's that. But that's what Jim and Aaron, they're like, you got to do Sketchfest, you got to do this, you got to do that. And they were very nice. They extended an invitation. They said, anytime I want to go to San Francisco, I can do the show there. They said, look, and they even said, our room's too small for you. You need to be doing this for bigger crowds. But that's incorrect. I mean, they could not have been friendlier or nicer and more accommodating. And the room was so great. They were great to Lily, great to me. And then, like I said, they laughed. Lily said they laughed all through the show. So I guess they weren't bullshitting. So they liked it. So that was pretty cool. And it was just great that everybody came. So I was happy. And then, the drive home was great with Lily. I've got pictures of her sleeping in my car that she doesn't know I took. And they're creepy. They're kind of creepy, sure. Because I showed Karen, she goes, Lily looks dead. Because you were asleep and the sun shone on your face, and I kept positioning my head so my shadow was blocking the sun so it wouldn't get in your eyes. And I'm driving, I'm trying to move my head, and I'm pulling out that weird visor thing and trying to position it, and the sun is going, it's rising, but all this, and I'm blocking it and covering your face and singing Rick Springfield at the top of my lungs. I don't even know how the fuck she was asleep, but she did. She snored all through it. Huh? You didn't snore. Of course you didn't snore. So she, believe me, folks, she didn't snore at all. So man, it was fucking great. It was just it was a great time in San Francisco, and I have what I consider to be possibilities, and it was great because it was so good. It was such a great weekend. Friday and Saturday were fantastic, and I drove home Sunday, and it was my wedding anniversary. And then Karen and I went to sushi dinner, and we had a really good time. Whirlwind, back and forth driving all this time, 5 hours here, 5 hours there, cabs, Asians, hand jobs, possibilities, fedoras. Hey, you got a light, fucking bacon-wrapped hot dogs, shrimp fried rice in the middle of the night, being nice to people on the internet, doing the show, people coming up to me, getting autographs, people from Canada, Portland, Seattle, crying, tears, wonderful time. People need to know who you are. And then Sunday night, I was in fucking Graveyardville. Staring straight ahead, realizing I'm a fucking nobody. Still. I might have gone and played show business for 2 days, but I am still a goddamn nobody, and I'm not going to get past it for a while. But thankfully, you guys are there to help me get past that. You guys can get me at Mike@MikeSchmidtComedy.com. You guys can get me at Facebook.com/The40-Year-Old-Boy. You can follow me at Twitter.com/The40-Year-Old-Boy. You can follow Lily Von Stupp at Twitter.com/Lily Von Stupp. You can follow her at Twitter.com/MNTs. And if you want to write her a personal note, a real note, a note of import, go ahead and write her at Lily at Burlesque411.com. That's Lily, Lili, at Burlesque411.com.
Zazzle.com/40-Year-Old-Boy. Please buy all his stuff.
Want to remind you folks about the Monday Night Teas every Monday night at the 3 clubs in Santa Monica. Or no, in Hollywood at Santa Monica and Vine. Yes. Hey, Lily.
Yesy.
Hey, who's going to be at the 3 clubs this week?
Well, going along with our cultural exchange program, we went up to San Francisco. Now this week, Kitten on the Keys is down here from San Francisco performing at my show.
Terrific. Is that one person?
Yes, Kitten on the Keys is an incredible musician and burlesque performer whose parents actually were in vaudeville, as well as I believe her grandparents too. She's awesome.
Wait a minute. Please tell me her parents weren't in vaudeville.
They weren't.
So she's 85 years old?
Her grandparents were in vaudeville. Her parents were like in circus, burlesque, and sideshow.
Okay, because if they were in vaudeville, then yeah, I don't need to see fucking Bud Abbott's daughter come out there and play a ukulele.
Although Kitten plays the ukulele.
Of course she does.
She does, and very well. More importantly, Kitten on the Keys and our headliner that night as well, Evie Lavelle, are both in the Cannes award-winning film On Tour.
Is that like a weird burlesque thing because they have big boobs?
It was an entire film based on 5 American burlesque dancers who go on tour in France with a very well-known actor-director whose name I cannot remember right now.
Wait a minute. So you mean like the Cannes Film Festival?
He got Best
Oh,
Director.
well, you don't pronounce the S, first of all, and second of all.
Because that's the punchline.
Well, that's I'm like it's Cannes. I figured I thought it was some weird boob thing. So.
No. It was the Cannes Film Festival.
Okay. Was that film being screened this week?
It is not being screened this week.
All
It
right.
is not actually in America yet. It will be.
But they are famous girls, is what you're saying.
Extremely famous American burlesque dancers.
Okay. Are you performing?
I am not.
Okay.
After last week performing twice, I'm taking a week off.
All right. Cool. So are you working the door? You'll be there, right?
Yeah, I'll be there. Of course.
Okay. Good.
Yeah.
And folks, I will tell you this, because we all love Lily's show and we love the Monday Night Teas, and you should always go to the Monday Night Teas. But if you find yourself going, oh man, I've seen the Monday Night Teas 9 weeks in a row. At the House of Blues every Monday night here in Hollywood, our friends Rock Sugar.
Oh,
remember, they are the house band now every Monday night. And I'm mad that I didn't get to go last week. Jesse actually wrote me. He's like, dude, you got to come to the show because we got like a thing. And I'm like, dude, I can't because I had a gig. I was working. I worked last Monday, but I won't tell you about that till next week. But they did Little Jess. I think they had a midget Jesse come out and perform with Rock Sugar. But here's what made me laugh was he was like, it's this awesome surprise. And then he goes, dude, we had Mini Jess come out. And in my head, I'm just like, wow, I know we only met a couple times, but you think I would think that was cool? I would hate
Mini Kiss?
I hate Mini Kiss. I want them dead. I want to fight them. I literally, no, fuck all that. Mini Kiss is the worst. All midgets suck. All midgets are terrible. Seriously. Any midgets not do anything, if they're aspiring to do anything non-midget based, fuck off. Be a midget. That's who you are. Wear it. Wear your identity. You're a goddamn midget.
Please address all of your hate mail to Mike at MikeSchmidtComedy.com.
Oh, please. They can't reach the mail slot.
Huge...
We talked about him a couple weeks ago. Remember? I was talking about Wizard of Oz. I'm like, same thing. All right. So I'm glad I would not, but it made me laugh that Jesse's like, dude, you would have totally dug it. I'm like, I would have absolutely hated it. I want to see you guys rock and play fucking amazing music. I don't need to see a midget dressed like you. But I love the fact that he's so happy, but oh my God, it's awesome. So yeah, if you guys, again, if you can't make the Monday Night Teas, which is always my go-to choice for a Monday night, go to the House of Blues and see Rock Sugar every Monday night. So, and who else is coming Monday? You got Evie Lavelle and...
we have Evie Lavelle and we have mini 40-year-old boy.
Oh, no.
Mini Schmitty.
Sure. That's terrible. Sounds atrocious.
I don't even remember who's playing Mini
A bunch of
Schmitty.
yeah, someone. Fantastic. So go to the Monday Night Thieves and check it out. That'll be a fun show. And plenty of theme shows coming up too. I will warn you or alert you to those when they do come up. So folks, here come the plugs, and there are quite a few. First of all, remember that our friend Rob Matsushita did the ad for the show that I put up on Funny or Die. And hopefully eventually he'll be able to get to do one or more of those. But he's making movies right now. Remember, he's got Chapel running every week, the series with our friend Emily Mills. So go ahead and check out Rob Matsushita's YouTube channel. You can find him on my Facebook page through my Facebook friends. Go ahead and be his friend. Check out his films. Go check out Rob Matsushita. And remember that if you need a trainer, you can go ahead with Sean Richardson over at realworldfit.com. You can follow him at twitter.com/realworldfit. I have been able to see him because we left Thursday. And then I couldn't go this past Tuesday because I've been crazy. I worked Monday night, whatever. But tomorrow is Thursday, and tomorrow we'll start real regular. I haven't been able to weigh myself either. I went to my gym, and the scale was broken. And I'm like, how fucking get a new scale? You're a gym. I mean, what the... Seriously, you don't have a backup scale somewhere? But no, it was broken. So but still, Rocky with the blog still rolling. I need to write entries and things like that, but it's still going. Want to remind you folks about the burlesquebears.com. If you go to burlesquebears.com, you can pick up a cool kind of a burlesque handmade bear that Lily makes, and I get those as a gift. They're fun. Again, if the Vermont teddy bears were sluts, they would be the burlesque bears. So they got little fans, they got little thongs on and pasties and stuff. So go to burlesquebears.com and check those out. Remember the Christine Taylor? I think it's ChristineTaylor.com. She did a review of the 40-Year-Old Boy, Success is Not an Option, and she also interviewed me. As far as I know, the review is still up. The interview is coming because she's like, as soon as I got to type it because I talked forever. So hopefully she's kind to me in the interview as nice as she was to me in the review. I also have to tell you, last week I forgot to mention this because I'm stupid. I was on Jordan Jesse Go, the podcast Jordan and Jesse Go last week with our friends Jordan Morris and Jesse Thorne. So go and check out, I think it's show number 140. I don't know. It's called The Power Exchange, and I was the guest on it. But just subscribe to them and get all their shows. That's great. But go listen to me specifically because I'm great on that show. On Jordan Jesse Go. And I really have to thank Jesse Thorne and the Sound of Young America. They sponsored the shows in San Francisco, and they did everything they could to get the word out. They played bumpers on their shows. They sponsored it. We made the announcement from the stage. He plugged it on his radio show. So I really have to thank Jesse Thorne and the Sound of Young America for sponsoring the 40-Year-Old Boy Show up in San Francisco. Thank you so much. I want to thank Bucky Sinister for doing everything that he could, all the legwork, from down to getting me propelled to making sure I had a hotel room, to telling us where to go eat and what to do. It was just really, really cool of him. And you can befriend Bucky Sinister on Facebook. He's on there. He posts. You'll find him. So go find Bucky Sinister. I want to thank Jim and Aaron at the Dark Room for having me there. That was really a fun time. And I want to thank everybody. Again, I mentioned all the names, but all the people who came out, all the people who wanted autographs, all the people who flew in from Canada or came and drove up, people from Seattle, Portland. I mean, everybody was really great. And I want to thank all of you for coming out to the show. It was fantastic, and it's not the last time. I'll be doing it here. And, folks, if you want me to come to your town and do it, I've already had some people out there. Let me know. And let me know of like what you think might be a good venue, a smaller theater that we can look into, and then I can look into maybe the prices, and we can figure that out. And, I'd love to come to Chicago, honestly, because it would be like the triumphant coming back. We took Jimmy Pardo's one-man show to Chicago, and it was the most fun I've ever had in my life because it was me, Pat, and Jimmy paid to go to Chicago and do comedy. And then we got to walk around again. We were heart of the city, walked and had pizza and at dusk. I mean, it was just so fucking great. I can see every minute of that weekend in front of me, and it was fantastic. So if you want me to come to your town and you think of a venue that might work, let me know. Again, I have no representation. I have no agents. Nobody knows who the fuck I am. But hopefully we can change that, and hopefully I can come to your town and do the show. I want to remind you about the Zazzle store, which you've already heard the short version because I did not play the long version because I've talked way too much on this show. And remind you that Year 1 and Year 2 download sets are available at MikeSchmidtComedy.com. And go ahead, or you can pick up the Super Angry Guy Gene Happy Good Time Yelling combo. And also remember that you can donate to the show. Go to the MikeSchmidtComedy.com, and up in the upper left-hand corner, there's a little donate button on every page. Donate to the show because I get some, and Lily gets some, and Mex gets some, and I really appreciate it. So if you can do that and support the show, that'd be fantastic. And bless you, again, with your sneezing. I got to get out of this sick house, folks. I got to get moving. I've already talked far too long. I've exposed myself to far too many germs as it is. I should have fucking been out of here a long time ago. Actually, I'm going to go drive my car into a fucking wall because the Phillies just got swept at home by the goddamn Astros. Are you fucking kidding me? Literally, they're 2.5 games out of first place. And look, folks, sports don't matter. All right, we all know this. I've talked about it many times. Sports matter to nobody except for the people who play the games. But when it gets to be September and your team is good and they're close and they start fucking up, goddamn, oh, dude, I can't even explain to you how frustrated I was. Literally, that was another reason why at the beginning of the show I felt a little sluggish and I might have been kind of all over the place. Is because I was watching the Phillies lose to the Astros again with Roy Halladay. And there's the thing, the Astros blow. Granted, they're hot now, but they still blow. And the Phillies threw Roy Oswalt, Cole Hamels, and Roy Halladay over the last 3 days and lose all 3 fucking games. They score 6 runs in 36 innings. God damn it. Nobody cares. I know nobody cares except me, but Jesus Christ, I'm sitting here and she's got the game on and she's refreshing it and I'm trying to do the fucking show and I'm seeing the score and I'm seeing the Phillies tie it at 2 and then the Astros go right up 3-2 and the Phillies can't score and I'm just like, God, what the fuck? Why do I care? I shouldn't care, right? It's going to get worse when football season starts because I really shouldn't care about that, and yet, sure enough, I'm sitting there watching it. Yay, football. God damn it. Do some work. Get yourself booked somewhere. Go get somebody to direct your show and edit it. Please, by all means, get somebody to edit it. Because, holy God, 2.5 hours, that seems long for anything, doesn't it? That's longer than I go see Tarantino movies, and it's like 2 hours and 36 minutes, and I'm like, that seems long. I talked that long the other night. Me, alone in a room with people hoping to catch their trains. I talked that long. Jesus Christ. You indulgent bastard. Let it go. Give people a chance to breathe. Let them have some room. And that was the thing that drove me crazy in Christine's review. I loved Christine. She was really nice. But in a review, she wrote, Schmidt needs to be comfortable with silence. Look, I'm comfortable with silence. I just don't want any. I don't want to fucking... I wasn't talking to fill silence. I was talking because that's what I do. I fucking talk. That's what I do. That's all I do, for Christ's sake. So it's so funny. That was the sentence that I extrapolated from the review. The rest of it, literally, she could have been saying, Schmidt was a genius and I want to give him $1 million. But he learns to be comfortable. Oh, my God, the silence thing. God, I'm an idiot. I can't. Why? Why do I latch onto that and pull that out of there when everything else? She told me in Aurora Borealis with ADD. That's cool, right? Is that good? I think that's pretty good. Well, fine. don't even. Why do I spit out this random bullshit that nobody fucking cares about? I am peddling obscenity. I am going to get a whole fucking army of you people, and you know what we're going to do? We're going to listen to me and then do nothing for an entire fucking week. I can't be trusted. Don't you people know this? It was like the Back to the Future of suck. I don't want to have a boner in somebody else's pants. I need to shoot up heroin and jog. Hey, ass fuck, are you listening to anything that I'm saying to you? Fuck, somebody's got to shut that old guy up. And I'm like, fuck you! I'm not a potato! I'm a goddamn cantaloupe! Hi, Mike. Hi, Mike. Hi, Mike. Hi, Mike. Hi, Mike. Hi, Mike.